You never really know what you get. It's like a box of chocolates, you know? Like a box of chocolates, you never know which one you're going to get. Is that what the old saying is? It's from Forrest Gump, I think, right? Forrest Gump, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Really high on the list, right up there with Shawshank Redemption. If you ever saw Shawshank Redemption, really like these movies, really do. And you know, it gets tougher to enjoy any kind of movie or television show the more awake you become to this beast system, to the system we're in, and to how incredibly satanic and dark a lot of these people are in the industries and these production companies. Never mind learning about the symbols. Once we start seeing the symbols and everything as well, right? Which is telling us most of this is poison. So yeah, it's harder and harder to find movies I like and TV shows that I can relate to when you know too much about some of these celebrities. You know too much about some of the weird stuff some of these people are into. Not long ago, Jennifer Lawrence, she's one of the biggest stars on the planet, right? One of the biggest Hollywood stars out there. She did an interview with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. And I put this in a couple of my videos. And, you know, she's on one of their Tonight Show thing, whatever their chat show is at night. And, you know, those shows get millions of views, millions. And they're all around America, all through America. Now that they're online, other places in the world are watching them as well. So there's a lot of eyes on those shows. And she was like doing the interview with upside down crosses on her ears. Huge, huge upside down cross earrings. It's not a mistake. You know, but people worship these celebrities. These are idols. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Chubbs is running around tonight. He's being fairly cool. I gave him something to eat about 10 minutes ago, hoping he's going to calm down. So we'll see how that goes, okay? Sometimes he just kind of pops in. Sometimes he makes noise and causes problems far away from me, knowing that it irritates me. And he makes me get up and go get him sometimes. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for a chill night with Chubbs, but we'll see. But anyway, all of that stuff out of the way. Hi. Thanks again for being here. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good week. And I found a lot of stuff I want to show you guys and talk about. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. This is from the New York Times. Shop the apocalypse. Safety orange jumpsuits, face masks, tactical vests. So-called war core clothing is hot during these anxious times. I was going to say ancient times. During these anxious times. But this does go to show you that, you know, we've seen, and I'm a part of it over the last 10 years or so, a true rise of what you could call conspiracy culture. Now, I've played my part in that for sure, you know, without realizing what was going on the whole time while I was involved in this and waking up and getting into making videos myself and everything. You know, I was a part of this, and so were you. So were a lot of you. You don't have to have a YouTube channel to have been a part of this. You know, just being a viewer and being someone interested in these kind of stories and looking it up. I mean, this is massive, and it correlates perfectly with, you know, the Great Awakening, even the apocalypse, which means the revealing. I always see that also as the veil lifting. So truth really is coming out all across the board in everything. In the Bible, it talks about, you know, nothing hidden. What is it? There'll be nothing hidden, basically, that everything will be revealed. Everything is going to be exposed. And that's definitely what I see happening right now on every level. It's fascinating. It's interesting. Shouldn't be scary. I mean, the longer you're awake, it shouldn't be scary. It's going to be scary at first. It was scary to me. When I first started waking up to this stuff, when I first found out about the Bohemian Grove, that really jacked me up many years ago. This is one of the biggest bits of information I stumbled across that really, really woke me up. And then I just went all in. I wanted to know everything and study everything. And then I experienced On a really hardcore level, the 5 stages of grief. Because I felt my reality that I was so used to for so many years, 20, 30 something years at that point, slipping away. Everything I thought I knew was the truth was a lie. And, most of you have been through that as well. It's not always fun in the beginning, is it? But looking back, I'm glad it happened for me in my case. I'm glad that I went through it. I'm glad I see what I see now. I don't want to be back in the Matrix. I don't want to be plugged back in. But anyway, the rise of conspiracy culture, along with the apocalypse, the great revealing, the great awakening, everything changing in this season of the end. I see this as a season of the end times. A survey, how do you say that word? Survey? Fancy word. A survey of dystopian apparel was evident on the menswear runways this year. Junya Watanabe showed nylon anoraks. Some words just in the first few sentences here that I've never even heard of before. Nylon anoraks. Can you hand me my anoraks? I've never even heard that word before. Junya Watanabe showed nylon anoraks, wool lumberjack jackets, and firefighter coats adorned with the kind of bright, reflective tape usually seen on school crossing guards. Prada trotted out padded nylon vests that looked like they could repel bullets, and oversized rain suits that looked like they could protect against nuclear fallout. And for his Calvin Klein collection show in February, Rolf Simons, the creative director, dressed the male models in safety cone orange jumpsuits, knee-high waders, and knit balaclavas, all of which gave new meaning to the term fashion emergency. If fashion is reflecting our anxious times, the most alarmist trend these days is the rise of military-inspired clothing and other utilitarian garb normally reserved for emergency responders, security guards, and doomsday preppers. Here's some of it. He looks thrilled to be there. Style arbiters, including Vogue magazine, have taken to calling it warcore. Fashion ideates what's going on around it, said Francesca Granata, an assistant professor of fashion studies at the Parsons School of Design in New York. And these days, she said, it's making sense of societal anxieties or fears. Some more pictures. Neat. Some Christmas ideas for some of you. You probably haven't got all your Christmas shopping done yet. So there's some maybe for the family. I could totally see Grandpa and Uncle Scott wearing something like this, right? Here we go. This is fashion, though. It's funny. It's fashion now. I guess that's all we get. It's not that many pictures, but there you go. You may have seen this one. This is crazy. I saw this story playing out on one of those news shows like Daily Mail or something on the television. And I didn't know what they were talking about. I just saw the person, and I had no idea that it was a dude. And this is the time we're in. Come here. You're making a lot of noise already, sir. Yes. Go on. That's right. You get out of here. All right, that's Chubbs. He's starting to walk around a little bit. He hears me talking. I'm not paying attention to him, so we'll see what kind of trouble he tries to get into. Anyway, so I saw this dude on TV, and some of this footage here. Had no idea that this is a bro. That's a bro right there. That's Angela Ponce, who competed as Miss Spain, says he hopes to highlight how misunderstood the transgender community is. That's him. That's the dude. High five, bro. Right? High five, bro. Angela Ponce, who is Miss Spain, made history as he took part in a beauty pageant in Bangkok, Thailand this week. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is where we're at now, though. Obviously looks like a beautiful woman. I mean, if you didn't know any better, right? Minus maybe, well, the Adam's apple, I can't see that, but you know, all kidding aside, like this is what it's like now. There's a lot of these people who are, I mean, it's to me, it just plays out exactly what reality is right now. You know, I mean, everything's an illusion in a lot of ways, right? There is a lot of madness taking place. Everything that was considered good is now bad, and vice versa. It's the as above, so below paradigm. We're living in the, what does Stranger Things call it? The upside down. We're living in the upside down. That's a dude. What's up, brah? The pageant changed one of its long-standing policies in 2012, which stated that participants should be naturally born women. Despite the rules changing 6 years ago, Angelina is the first transgender contestant to make the finals. He may have missed out on the crown, but the beauty queen said that he couldn't have cared less. After failing to make the top 20, he said, "I don't need to win Miss Universe. I only need to be here." That's a dude. This year's Miss Universe title ended up going to Miss Philippines, Catriona Gray, who is said to have been an early favorite. Pageant officials gave Angela a chance to speak about his history-making debut in the competition during a pre-recorded segment. He said, "I'm here to represent diversity of humans in the world." That's a dude. My hope is for tomorrow to be able to live in a world of equality for everyone, simply for all of us to understand that we are human and that we must make all our lives easier together. That reality for many people is going to change. People were quick to take to Twitter to share their support for the pioneering beauty queen. One wrote, "This really brought tears to my eyes. I'm so proud of him, so proud of Spain, so proud of the Miss Universe organization." Another added, "I'm crying, RN, because of Miss Spain." Right now, that is. Angela, 27, says that by taking part, he hopes to highlight how misunderstood the transgender community is, and he also intends to send a message to Donald Trump. Anyway, see what this really is. This is the nice story. This is the nice story. This is the one for the family. This is a happy story. It's all about acceptance and inclusion. But what it really is I'm trying to think. What is this? Okay, I've got something to show you. Let me think. What was it called? Oh, that's it. Okay, I've got it. I think this is what I see. I don't see the happy story taking place in Spain. I see Conchita Wurst. Remember Conchita Wurst? I see Conchita Wurst and the Rise of the Phoenix. This is Conchita Wurst. It's from the Eurovision event. I guess back in 2014. There's the phoenix in the background, rising from the ashes. The song is "Rise Like a Phoenix." So this is even a metaphor for the end of the fourth age and the beginning of the fifth. You know, the last age of man, the time of the Antichrist. You know, the son of perdition, the ultimate man of sin. All that to be revealed also shows that everything's changing. Everything's going the opposite. What was once considered good is now considered evil. It was once considered evil is now considered good. Conchita Wurst, Rise Like a Phoenix. The dude. It's a dude. To expand access to emergency contraception, some colleges try vending machines. Look at this. This is crazy. Students seek convenience, discretion when buying Plan B. This is our culture too. It's to me, it's such a disgusting culture. Everything's so overly sexualized anyway. It's taking any of the mystery or romance out of everything. This whole world of ours now. It's all just it's nasty. It's hookup culture stuff, you know? Some universities are installing vending machines where students can purchase emergency contraception, an effort to remove barriers to and anxiety surrounding products like Plan B. Oh, look at this. See, I mentioned this last week. It's another one of these. This is another, this is just another example of really like dinosaur media. I mean, it really is dying. This is one of the reasons we see so much of the censorship taking place right now. It's the last gasp of dinosaur media. But they're hurting so bad. It's like they won't even let you see a full story online anymore. You've got to give them $1 a week or whatever. You got to subscribe to these people and give them a couple dollars. And fair enough, I understand. Business has to make money, but so I guess that's kind of the gist of it. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see. College Plan B machines. So we'll find it somewhere else where we don't got to pay for it. All right. Some of this news is still free, isn't it? Students looked at vending machines. There we go. Oh, well, that's an older story. I guess I yanked this up as an older story anyway, but that's all right. It's from like a year ago. It's been 4 years since the federal government lifted the age limit for the morning after pill, but college students across the country say gaining access to it remains fraught with confusion and difficulty. Now some colleges think they have found a solution, vending machines stocked with the morning after pill. Stanford University unveiled one this month following in the footsteps of several other colleges, including a bunch of colleges, which made headlines after it installed a wellness, you gotta love that, a wellness machine this year that sells the generic version of Plan B. Look at that, wellness for an abortion pill. They call this the wellness machine. It's like how they call war theater now. It's theater, right? Change the words, but you haven't changed the meaning. Still is what it is. This is still an abortion pill. You're still, right? But it's in the wellness machine. Everybody loves a wellness machine. Sells generic version of Plan B as well as pregnancy tests, feminine products, and a bunch of other stuff. There you go. Keep screwing, folks. You can get the Plan B pill out of a vending machine. Just keep screwing. No morality. Doesn't matter. If it feels good. If it feels good, do it, right? That's scope of investigations into Trump has shaped his presidency. I'm not going to read this. It's just something I was looking at this week and thinking about that. I mean, they're full bore on him right now. And this is just really interesting to watch. The whole thing is, to me, it's interesting. But they're coming at him with everything they've got. And I mean, there's people talking about him being president for 2 terms. I don't even know if this dude's going to make it another month sometimes at the way it's going. So, and I know there's the Trump prophecies, and a lot of people think that, and I've seen the symbolism. We talked about it, how perhaps God's using him for this time, right? Doesn't mean he's a good, holy man, but, he can be used by God. God can use anyone God wants to and has. That's in the Bible. A lot of people he used to do his will weren't necessarily good people, right? You got the whole King Cyrus thing for one. So I get all that stuff, but we'll see, man. It's interesting, especially now that they have the House, the Democrats have the House, and now this last week there's all these stories coming out about how they're coming up against him and his entire family on everything they can go after. He's being investigated for, anything you can imagine, man. It's like they're hitting him, his businesses, his kids. So it's like, they're full bore coming at this guy, man. So it's going to be interesting to see. And the Republicans are nowhere to be found. It is that false left-right paradigm. Where are the ballsy, strong-willed Republicans standing up and saying, this will not stand. We will not take this, about anything, right? Where are they? You never hear about them, do you? So they're not out there. It's a shame. If this or when this guy goes, Trump, when this guy goes, I couldn't see America ever having another conservative or Republican type president. Perhaps he is the tip of the spear. Perhaps the event is going to happen on his watch. Perhaps that's when maybe Obama, right? Maybe he takes center stage again, or maybe it'll be somebody else. Maybe it'll be the Maitreya. You heard of the Maitreya? Perhaps it's the Maitreya. We'll see. It's very interesting. Interesting to watch this. You may have seen this here. Prada pulls its $550 blackface keychain amid backlash. Look at this. This is high fashion people, high fashion folk. Luxury Italian fashion house Prada shut down a New York City storefront and pulled a keychain from its stock after the accessory went viral for resembling blackface imagery. The complaint was first made on Twitter and Facebook by a civil rights attorney and activist who works at the Center for Constitutional Rights. Easy saw the keychain while walking past the Lions Soho store in downtown Manhattan. What do you guys think about that? See the image? I wish I could make that a little bigger. See if that does it. There you go. What the? I just noticed this. Look at the 666 there. There's the 666 right there on the bottom right-hand corner. What is that from? Is that part of the display case or something? I guess I need to, let's see here. Prada blackface. And images. Well, that does look kind of like blackface. I guess I could see that, But I'm kind of looking for that 666. It looks like these guys are standing on pentagrams, though, anyway. Look like pentagrams these guys are standing on. No, but it is a checkered floor. It looks like the black and white checkered floor. Of course, right? I mean, this is the symbolism we expect to see with a lot of this stuff. Let's see, where else? Oh, that's it. I think you probably saw that same thing I did. You probably saw that 666 there. Yeah, it is the black and white Masonic checkerboard floor they're on, too. There you go. There you go, right? Oh, but that symbolism doesn't mean anything. KJ, you're reaching again. You're always reaching. Doesn't mean anything. There you go. Taylor Swift tracked stalkers with facial recognition tech at her concert. Cool, thanks. This girl gives me almost the same feeling I get when I look at a picture of Hillary Clinton. Like it's like a guttural tightness. Like I almost feel sick. Like I want to yak. I don't know what it is. I just her and Hillary Clinton. I get the same feeling from. Just pure evil. I don't know what it is. I know. Oh, KJ, he thinks Taylor Swift is pure evil. Man, I just feel it from this one. Gross. Something about this broad. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I mean, she's obviously done a lot of the Illuminati symbols and public rituals and all this other stuff. I mean, she's a puppet for that system, but it's just something about this chick. Something about that, broad. Taylor Swift held a concert at California's Rose Bowl this past May that was monitored by a facial recognition system. The system's target, hundreds of Swift's stalkers. Swift's facial recognition system was built into a kiosk that displayed highlights of her rehearsals, which would secretly record onlookers' faces. According to Rolling Stone, which spoke with a concert security expert who observed the kiosk, attendees who looked at the kiosk were immediately scanned. Afterward, the data was sent to a command post in Nashville, Tennessee, that attempted to match hundreds of images to a database of her known stalkers. U.S. artists haven't previously been publicized for using facial recognition tech at their concerts. However, the legality of doing so is on the artist's side. The concert is technically a private event, therefore event organizers can subject concert goers to almost any kind of surveillance. Well, that's good to know, right? A concert is technically a private event, therefore event organizers can subject concert goers to almost any kind of surveillance. The security measures taken for Swift's event could be considered extreme, but it's not the first time facial recognition has been used to look out for unwanted attendees. Of course, now they give China as an example. This past April, Chinese police arrested a 31-year-old suspect who was hiding among nearly 60,000 people during a concert at Nanchang International Sports Center. This was made possible by the early stages of China's own Zuliang, or Sharp Eyes, monitoring system, which will be tasked with monitoring the movements of its citizens. Okay. Something about that, broad. This is a nice one. I remember when he first started talking about this a while back. This is Korn. Korn's a band, a rock band, a metal band, kind of a heavy metal band. Korn's Brian Head Welch recalls overcoming addiction, finding God in New Doc. I think this might be a vid. This might be a vid that we can watch together. Let's see if it's going to come on. If not, that's all right too. I'll just read to you. Okay, I guess it is. Let's see what happens here. Or this might be one of those things where it's just music. And yeah, that's all it is. Okay, that's annoying. All right, we're just going to read. We're going to go old school with this one and actually just read words. Guitarist Brian Head Welch was at the prime of his career during the late 90s and early 2000s when Korn helped define a completely new genre of music known as nu metal, becoming one of the most successful acts of its day. But behind closed doors, the Grammy-winning rock star was losing himself to drugs and alcohol. Welch walked away from Korn and $23 million record deal in 2005 after he found God. The bold move helped him become free of his addictions, but the single father still needed plenty of saving. The now 48-year-old and his daughter, Jenna Welch, are the subjects of a new Showtime documentary titled Loud Crazy Love, a shocking tell-all about his complicated relationship with the now 20-year-old, who is also privately battling her own demons. It features in-depth interviews with the pair, with Welch's parents, etc. Welch told Fox News, filming technically began in 2005 after MTV reached out about creating a spirituality show. MTV and a spirituality show. Sure. But when the project fell through, Welch kept the footage until 2013 when the idea of a film exploring his life with Korn was presented to him. However, it was clear to Welch that the real story he was ready to share was the one that even his diehard fans didn't know about. In the film, Welch revealed that despite having it all, fame, fortune, and a child he adored, he was still suffering from unhappiness. He said, I think the root was the self-hatred that was going on due to unresolved issues growing up. I didn't have the best relationship with my dad. I was bullied in school, picked on. I remember the first time just trying to connect with girls. It was just rejection after rejection, so I always felt ugly. Every time I looked in the mirror, it was like, you're not good enough. There's always someone more popular. There's always someone more gifted in music. I felt like I was too sensitive to things, and they would get to me, and I would let them just tear me down. And no matter how successful I got later on, I just felt like if people really got to know me, got close to me, they wouldn't like me. That's the lie I believed about myself, and so I would just mask it with drugs and alcohol for years and years. It wasn't until I found my faith that I learned to love myself. The Hollywood Reporter revealed Welch's addictions became so severe he would hide his crystal meth and vitamins deodorant, whatever was handy while touring with Korn. Welsh also shared on Matt Weiss and Theo Vaughn's allegedly podcast that he once sent 1/8 ounce of crystal meth via FedEx. Jenna had an unconventional childhood, one that involved hitting the road as a toddler alongside her famous father on tour. When I think about being on the road, it's a lot of bittersweet memories, honestly, Jenna told Fox News. We had so much fun. I was able to do whatever I wanted, eat whatever I wanted, and just hang out. There were promiscuous girls, parties, and stuff, and I knew that it was wrong, but honestly, it was just what it was. But Jenna also endured loss. In the documentary, she vividly described moments in her young life when Welch was absent as he traveled the country with Korn. Then her mother, also dealing with addiction, left the pair behind. Jenna admitted it wasn't easy to relive those memories of being alone. It was difficult, she explained. I think there were some sad things that as a kid I didn't quite get because he wasn't there and my mom wasn't there, and I guess when I became older, it affected me a lot. When Welch converted to Christianity, he was determined to always be by Jenna's side, but his struggles were far from over. He was no longer packing arenas, and his finances were rapidly dwindling. Bad business deals also taunted Welch. Still, his faith endured. I was forewarned, I should say, said Welch. You go through trials, sometimes heavy ones. Sometimes it looks like God's abandoned you, but not for any reason. It's to make your faith grow and to see that no matter what happens, you come out okay. It's all for your good. It's all for love, and it's all for making you a strong person. I love that, man. I've experienced that. I'm sure some of you have. So when I lost my house, when I lost financing, when I lost cars and people betrayed me, it was just like the spiritual working out. It's a good attitude to have. I kept working hard to try to get things back on track and to see that I'm going to need the band. The money is not who takes care of me anymore. God provides for me. I come from a background where if someone is rough and tough, you handle things physically. People betrayed me and you just want to choke them, but you choose forgiveness. During her teens, Jenna found herself drowning in depression and anxiety. She resorted to cutting herself in hopes of eliminating pain that refused to vanish. She even considered taking her life. She says, when I was 14, I was really open about my depression and anxiety on social media. I was really open because I didn't know how to talk to other people about it in a healthy way. I guess what made me want to share all these things in the documentary was the fact that so many other kids struggle. I talk to girls every day who are 14, 15, who battle with those things and battle with family dynamics. I just feel for them, and I feel like because I'm doing so well and I have so many healthy coping skills now, it would also be selfish not to share how far I've come. Love it. With the help of Welch, Jenna received intensive counseling. Phoenix New Times reported Welch enrolled Jenna at a Christian boarding school called Awakening Youth Academy, and she credited the new environment for giving her a sense of normalcy. There you go. It's a nice story. It's a good testimony, eh? I think it is. Who didn't see this one coming? Boy Scouts of America considers bankruptcy filing amid sex abuse lawsuits. And it's so much more than just the sex abuse lawsuits. Crap, it's another one of those. It's a Wall Street Journal again. You got to pay, subscribe, or you don't get to read the full story. That's okay. I don't need the full story this time, Wall Street Journal. Boy Scouts of America. You guys know not long ago they've changed their name, right, to just Scouts. And they are also in the last few years have allowed gay scoutmasters. I mean, hello. I'm just saying. Remember, it was like a year ago. What was it? Condoms at the Boy Scout Jamboree. I think that's part of the story here. Yeah, here it is. Please stop. Yeah, there we go. Remember this. Boy Scouts to provide condoms at upcoming World Jamboree. Washington Times. That's from May 22nd, 2018. So it hasn't been a year. How about that? Is it any surprise? No. See, look, they want it too. Let me see, not this time. Okay, here we go. But yeah, I mean, is it any surprise Scouts is falling apart now, involving themselves in this kind of debauchery, degeneracy, right? Right? Now, this is kind of hard to watch, but we're going to watch it. Suspicious bloke tests wife's loyalty with younger man does not go well. Make of this what you will. I'll wait till it loads up here. It's kind of like that show Cheaters. You ever seen Cheaters? It's been a guilty pleasure of mine for many years. I mean, it's always nice to see someone get busted. I mean, really, if someone's being shady, and they get caught, it's kind of nice. The cheaters, it's a genius idea for a show. I don't know how much of it was real. I'm sure some of it was acted out, but still a genius idea for a show. Okay, here we go. You ready? Let's watch this together. This one's for all those cheating couples out there in the audience tonight.
I'm sorry to bother you. Do you know where the Starbucks is around here?
Right there.
Oh, perfect. I'm meeting some friends there. You're really cute. I'm sorry.
We showed this footage to Dan, Elena's husband, the very next day, and this is how he reacts.
What'd you say?
You can get a lot.
Oh, are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. We should get coffee sometime.
Oh, you're so young.
No, don't worry. I'm Christian, by the way. Yes.
I'm Helen.
Helen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We should get coffee.
Elena does not mention having a husband and also doesn't hesitate to give out her number.
Hi, this is my place.
Our decoy just hugs Helen. Watch again how she turns her head trying to kiss his neck. She's ready to get to business.
Wow, love your dress.
You like it?
I love it. Yeah, you're so pretty. That was the dress you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
This is my place.
It looks nice.
Take a seat.
You want to show me your room?
Yeah, just hold on a second.
Yeah, let's make it quick because I can't stay long.
Okay.
The decoy says he has to grab something from the bedroom.
Go get some from my room real quick.
Okay, you want me to go with you?
No, it's okay. You can stay there. I'll be quick.
Dan being on camera does not want to cause a scene. We followed up a few days later with Dan, left a few voice messages, but have not heard back. We assume this is a private matter for him and his family, and they plan on dealing with it within their household, and we respect that.
Oof. Am I right? Ouch. That's smart. It's for all those cheaters out there in the audience tonight. You really are destroying someone's life. Factory robot impels worker with 10-foot-long steel spikes after horror malfunction. I think there's some pictures with this one. I don't want to watch the surgery. I don't know about you. But let's read some here. Just pause that. 49-year-old named Mr. Zhao was working on the night shift at a porcelain factory in Hunan province when he was struck by a falling robotic arm. The accident resulted in him being impaled with foot-long, half-inch thick metal rods, the People's Daily reported. He was first taken to a local hospital before he was transferred to the Jingya Hospital of Central South University due to the severity of his injuries. 6 steel rods fixed on a steel plate pierced his right shoulder and chest, and 4 penetrated elsewhere in his body. During the operation, doctors found that one of the rods missed an artery by just 0.1 millimeters. Wow. Ooh, look at those. Sheesh. They look like weapons, right? Look at that. Wow. The rods also prevented doctors from carrying out x-rays before the operation. They were relatively big, so there was no means of fitting the patient into the x-ray machine, while the nails themselves could have caused interference with x-rays. Surgeons worked through the night to take out all the rods in Mr. Zhu's body. His condition is now described as stable. Good to hear. He will undergo treatment in physiotherapy to assist his recovery, and he is already able to move his right arm. That's good. There you go. Craziness. This is cool. I thought this was really cool. This story made the rounds this past week, too. Some good news about a Hollywood celebrity. Hoping it's true, of course. Seems like a decent dude. I don't know much about Keanu Reeves. I never seen him doing the Illuminati symbols or anything. We'll have to take a look here in a second. Hollywood star Keanu Reeves secretly finances children's hospitals. Few people are so acquainted with loss as Hollywood superstar Keanu Reeves. Despite all of his success on the big screen in films such as Matrix, Speed, and John Wick, the 54-year-old actor's off-screen life can aptly be described as tragic. However, he's made it his life mission not to let these tragedies deter him from giving back and helping others as much as possible. When Keanu was only 3 years old, his father left his family. Keanu spent his teenage years at 4 different high schools while struggling with dyslexia. He eventually graduated but lost his best friend at the age of 23 to a drug overdose, his first child to a miscarriage, and the love of his life to a car accident. When it seemed like things couldn't get any worse for Keanu, his sister was also diagnosed with leukemia. Thankfully, his sister recovered, and Keanu dedicated his life to helping others. The internet is resplendent with stories of his generosity. One Reddit user explained, back in the late 90s and fresh out of college, I got my first job as assistant prop designer on the set of Chain Reaction. Keanu was a supporting actor with Morgan Freeman. Every day for the last few weeks of filming, Keanu treated the stagehands and grunt workers, including myself, by taking us out for free breakfast and lunch. He was genuinely a very nice guy to work with. Since then, I've worked on about 30 different sets and have never met an actor as generous and friendly as him. Most actors I've seen and worked with are total blanks who always think they are better than us. Keanu, on the other hand, at the very least, was socially approachable and definitely kind-hearted. I'd like to think that, Keanu follows the ways of Christ. I know. Maybe he's just a nice guy and an atheist and an agnostic or something. I don't know, but I can dream, can't I? I'd like to think that, he's one of us. He's a follower of Christ, and he's letting it manifest. He's truly being that the best he can. Because this is good stuff to hear. If it's all real, all true, right? It's nice to hear. We need more stories like that. More good stories about some of these people. Oh, let's see. I'm always curious here. Reeves. Body. Let's just look at the images. How's that sound? All right. There is that one, which is pretty cool. It's interesting. You've seen this doppelganger Keanu Reeves stuff? They found these old pictures. Look at that. 1530, 1875. He's 54 now. He still pretty much looks the same. I don't know. I'm not with that one so much. It is interesting. There's a lot of that celebrity doppelganger stuff. That's interesting. I mean, again, who knows? Maybe it is part of a bloodline. Maybe part of a Illuminati cloning, perhaps. Some people may think. You always have to look at the families and see how they're connected, and are they connected to the military? That's always a big one. Are there these people's mothers and fathers working for the military? Were they working for the government? The devil horns, yeah, but again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of stuff. There he is with his devil horns. No, I'm not seeing him do the eye. Like literally the one hand over one eye, right? Well, who knows? Let's see. I hope you're not in a hurry. I'm just going to we're going to take some side roads here. Keanu Reeves, atheist. Oh, there we go. While often described as a Buddhist or atheist, including being mentioned on a famous atheist list, Reeves is non-religious and has occasionally expressed a belief in God or some other higher power, stating, I believe in God and the devil, but they don't have to have pitchforks and a long white beard. I like that. Especially for a guy at his level. If he is a follower of Christ, if he is a believer he's got to, walk gently. You know what I mean? So I like that. If that's real, if that's really the thing. Reeves is non-religious, because I consider myself non-religious, right? But a believer and a friend of God and a follower of Christ. And Christ is my personal Lord and Savior, right? But there's a difference between that and religion. So I get that. Reeves is non-religious and has occasionally expressed a belief in God or some other higher power, stating, I believe in God and the devil, but they don't have to have pitchforks and a long white beard. So there you go. There you go. Who knows? No matter what, it's still cool that he's spending some of that fortune on helping others, right? Helping the kids. A symbol found in Christian places of worship around the world may have a secret meaning, according to a bombshell documentary on what they're calling the Flower of Life. Flower of Life is the name given to the geometrical figure composed of multiple, evenly spaced overlapping circles. Its perfect form, proportion, and harmony lead many philosophers, architects, and artists from around the world to study it over the years. Some thought it provided a deep spiritual meaning and forms of enlightenment, leading it to be used for meditation. Various adaptations of the Flower of Life can be found in churches today, including the Seed of Life. The windows of many cathedrals and churches can be seen made up of some form of this design before being stained. According to some researchers, the Seed of Life is a symbol of depicting the 7 days in which God reportedly created life. Netflix Top 10 Mysteries and Secrets revealed. It is found in Gothic cathedrals, stained glass windows, and places of worship, and on the routes of many teachings. The Vesica Piscis right there. Jonathan Kleck covers this one a lot. If you don't know Jonathan Kleck, a friend of mine here on YouTube and off YouTube, we're actually friends in real life. Check out Jonathan Kleck. Check out some of his work. He talks a lot about this as well. The New Age movement put forward the theory that the Flower of Life contains crucial information about the nature of space and time. They claim the symbol depicts the creation of the world and life itself like a divine formula. The apparent formula can be broken down to reflect each day of work. Also, the Kabbalah, I think of, right? The Tree of Life. Vesica Piscis, 2 overlapping circles represent the first day, followed by the tripod of life on the second. One sphere can then be added for each subsequent day, leaving the perfect replication of the Seed of Life by day 6. According to the Bible, God then rested on day 7, known as the Sabbath or Shabbat. Fair enough. I'm going to click there and save that one, because this is one of those stories I think will come back up again in one of my videos eventually. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to watch that documentary first off. I didn't even know they had one on Netflix. Top 10 Mysteries and Secrets. It'd be interesting to see what Netflix's top 10 mysteries and secrets will be. So I'll have to check that out and maybe make a video on that or something. Soy sauce colon cleanse hoax leaves woman brain dead. You heard about this? A doctor has outlined a shocking case in which a woman was left brain dead after an internet hoax went horribly wrong. The incident, outlined on medical YouTube channel Chubby Emu, involves a 39-year-old woman identified as CG who presented to emergency services with a rapidly deteriorating mental status. Earlier that day, the woman had been performing a soy sauce colon cleanse, a dangerous internet fad which involves people drinking a liter of soy sauce in 2 hours. The woman was already unwell. She had lost 24 pounds in the past 3 weeks. Wow, how do you do that? Unless you're on meth or crushing them Addies, crushing Adderall. She lost 24 pounds in the past 3 weeks and had started a white bread and canned fish only diet 6 months ago. She had also recently been released from a psychiatric hospital for what was believed to be paranoid schizophrenia. The woman had the paranoid belief that government had poisoned her and had read online that the soy sauce colon cleanse would rid her body of toxins. Soon after drinking the highly salt-laden soy sauce, she felt her heart beating faster. A doctor based in the U.S. identified only as Bernard said. Bernard runs the popular Chubby Emu channel, which features videos on medical issues like kidney disease and cancer. She resisted all urges to drink any water. Over the next 30 minutes while driving home, CG stopped on the side of the road and began to cry, he said. When CG got home, she stumbled around and began mumbling unintelligibly. She then collapsed. She was rushed to hospital and while en route, went into cardiac arrest before being resuscitated. Several clues were available regarding what was wrong. Most immediately, CB was suffering from acute hypernatremia, meaning she had extremely high levels of salt in her blood. As Bernard explained, the malicious soy sauce challenge was based on half-truths. It was claimed the challenge would cleanse a person's colon by evacuating the entire body of toxins. The correct part is that wherever sodium is, water will flow towards it, he said. CG was told the soy sauce would stay in her colon. Toxin-filled water would then flow in and she'd be cleansed. But that's not how it happens. He said the soy sauce brought huge amounts of salt into her stomach, which began sucking water from her muscles and organs. The salt soon reached her brain, causing shrinkage, which can cause permanent brain damage. Bernard said the doctors acted by infusing glucose-laden water into CG's body. The sugar was absorbed by her cells, which diluted her blood. After the treatment, CG began to stabilize but continued to drift in and out of consciousness. 4 days later, she opened her eyes. She exhibited dysphagia, and quadriplegia. She was unable to move, swallow, or speak. Jeepers. She was unable to move, swallow, or speak. Random thought here. Random thought alert. That reminds me of a horror film. One of the most horrific scenes I've ever seen in a horror film. I'm going to come back to that. She is diagnosed with central point myelinolysis. I don't know how to say that. A form of damaged nerve cells. According to Bernard, she should not have been able to drink the soy sauce. Almost no normal functioning human could drink almost half a pound of salt without vomiting. CG had some quality to her that could separate her mind from drinking soy sauce. He believes she had undiagnosed celiac disease, an immune reaction to eating gluten, which manifests as psychosis and delusional disorder. Ugh, that's so bad and sad. Here's the random thought. Remember, I have a horror-ish background. You know, my father, who still goes to church every Sunday, raised me on horror films and science fiction as a tot. As a wee little one, I was watching, Chainsaw Massacre at 9 years old and stuff. I know. But hey, we still made it to church every Sunday, right? But still, I was raised with horror and science fiction. Even went to school to be a horror science fiction writer for film. I get a degree in screenwriting. Enough about me. Let's talk about the scene. I only bring all that stuff up so I've seen tons of horror and scary stuff, and right. But reading that one part of this story reminded me of one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in a movie. I don't even remember. There it is. I'm just trying to find what. I can't see it now. Yeah, I can't see it. Anyway, remember how it was basically saying she was rendered, useless. I mean, she couldn't move or anything like that. So it was a random thought, but there's this movie. Can't remember what it was called, but it was one of those like movies with 4 or 5 short stories in it, all horror movies. It wasn't any of the creep shows either. This is something really random. Again, it was a horror anthology, they're called. It was one of those anthology films. 4 or 5 short little horror movies in there, right? One of them was about a guy, I think he'd robbed a bank or something. He was a criminal on the run. He was out in Louisiana, somewhere out in the swamps, and he found a safe place to hide, and it was with somebody, and I think it was like a witch or something. It was like a lady out in the swamp that had developed basically a serum that could make you immortal. She had found this through flowers or something out in the swamp. She had found this stuff that can make you, an immortal. And you'll never die. No matter what happens to you, you're still going to live, right? You'll just live and live and live, and you'll never die. Like, you're going to have to be like crushed into pieces or something like that, just completely, brain, everything just taken apart. Like putting like one of those machines that they crush cars. I mean, seriously, like it's one of those things. It's very powerful. Flower type thing, keeps you alive forever and ever and ever. All right. The only way you can die is if you're like incinerated or something. So that's the gist. That's the beginning of this. The bad guy or the criminal does something stupid. I can't remember what it was. He kills somebody, or steals from the witch or something like that happens. So next thing you know, this is the end of that story. It's just that weird, scary scene I saw in my head. It's just some random family driving down a road right out by the swamp, and as they're driving down the swamp, all you see is the headlights. Whatever they see in the headlights, you see right on screen. And all of a sudden, the headlights fall upon a bag in the middle of the road, like some kind of a burlap sack in the middle of the road, and there's something in it that's squirming around. They get out of the car, they go over there and they check it out. And what had happened is that somebody took this bad guy, she dosed him with that drug to make him immortal, and she took everything off of him. She took off his arms, his legs, took out his tongue, just basically just took him apart into pieces and left the main bit of him inside that bag. And he's like, oh! I mean, it's like, I'll never forget it. It was one of the most horrific things ever. Just the worst way anybody could go, I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, that is just, sorry for scaring you. I mean, it just popped into my head, but just one of the worst ways to go, right? What a just scary, scary thing there. So this was pretty interesting too. Fox 2 Detroit meteorologist Jessica Starr commits suicide at 35. I thought this was weird because, here, I'll just read. Jessica Starr, a meteorologist for Detroit's Fox 2 News, committed suicide Wednesday. She was 35. Her colleagues shared the heartbreaking news to Twitter Thursday, noting they learned of her death the night before. All of us here are in shock and cannot believe such a wonderful, bright, and intelligent individual will no longer be with us, the tweet read. Starr, a Michigan native, received meteorology degrees from Michigan State University and Mississippi State University. Oh, here it is. She underwent LASIK eye surgery in October and was forced to take time off of work, a struggle she addressed in Facebook video in early November. I'm still healing, but I'm ready to get back to my life, she said, noting that doctors told her it would take about 3 months before she felt 100% again. Her final tweet came 1 day later when she explained that the surgery was still affecting her day-to-day life. Update. Yesterday was a struggle for me. I really wanted to come back, but I need more time to recover. Please keep me in your thoughts during this challenging time. We'll keep you updated, she wrote November 14th. Starr, who is married with a young daughter, Riley, and son, Noah, was remembered by her colleagues as wonderful, bright, and intelligent. Anyway, it's just me, I know, but I mean, this is... So she committed suicide after having LASIK eye surgery. I mean, that's kind of the gist of this, right? She underwent LASIK eye surgery in October, just a couple months ago, and was forced to take time off of work. So a struggle she addressed in Facebook. Still healing, ready to get back to my life. Yesterday struggled for me, wanted to come back, but I need more time to recover. Really, though, that's just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing here. I don't know why I found this interesting. I just do. That somebody like this, a woman seemingly at the top of her game, still young, beautiful, great family, money, on TV. A lot of people think that's like, one of the ultimate things ever, being on TV, right? But still, you see where I'm going with this. She had a lot going for her. Seemed like things were going really good. But LASIK eye surgery and just having to recover for a few months, and then that's what caused her to take her own life, not even considering this wonderful family and all this other stuff. It just makes me wonder, what happens, what was really happening there at the end with her. I know, maybe not that crazy of a story or weird, just something I just saw, and I don't know, made me wonder. That happens sometimes. I've been known to wonder. 6 people beat, poured scalding water on boy 3. Look at these monsters. I want you to take a look at these creatures at New Jersey house, officials say. So these 6 people beat up a 3-year-old child and poured scalding water on it. The boy. Look at these creatures. These are creatures. Like monsters. Freaking monsters. A 3-year-old boy was severely beaten and abused, including being burned with scalding water by 6 adults in a consistent and coordinated form of punishment. Smith is a 3-year-old boy's mother, though it's unclear if the 5 others have any relation to the child. The 6 people were living in the home in Newark. They allegedly beat the toddler with their fists and belts and poured scalding water on him as a form of corporal punishment. Creatures. Monsters. Monsters are real. Monsters are real. Creatures. I have to temper my imagination. It gets carried away. It's just the way I am. I'm a writer by trade. I was a writer since I was a child. Someday I'm going to write. I'll get back into it because I was writing scripts for years, trying to get those sold and stuff. But I like to write stories too, and I just need to get back into writing sometime. But so sometimes my imagination gets a little wild. I see stories like this. I wish, in a weird way, that I could be some kind of superhero for God that had special powers that could know where these kind of people are and get there just moments before they create their crime, and then I can beat the crap out of all of them. How cool would that be, right? To be able to do stuff like that. I know, that's just my imagination running wild, but creatures, monsters. South Africa, man. How come they never talk about what's going on in South Africa? Gee, I wonder, on the mainstream news. I never see any mention of it. I haven't seen anything on Fox News. I don't watch these news channels very often, but I just, I don't see anything coming out. Well, I am subbed to some of them on YouTube, though, to see what kind of stories they come up, all the main ones, right? I know it's all controlled, but still, you want to see what their narrative is. Like, what are they trying to put out there? But I haven't seen anything from ABC, NBC, MSNBC. Nothing really about South Africa, especially what they're doing to the white folk out there. Black South African politician urges followers to, quote, kill whites, saying we will kill their children and their women. Good times. The leader of a South African political party has called for the killing of white women and children in a row over the taxi industry. President of Black First Land First, BLF, was speaking at a rally on the weekend near Johannesburg when he made the violent comments. He tells a cheering crowd, for each one person that is being killed by the taxi industry, we will kill 5 white people. For every one black person, we will kill 5 white people. Okay, so, and you already know about, now it's not so much this, I'm wondering why the news hasn't covered. I mean, they should be, but it's them taking the farms away from the white farmers. I mean, you knew this, right? I don't know if you knew this. I've covered it here, but just in case maybe you haven't heard about it, let me show you this real quick. Yeah, this is just from a few weeks ago. Your time is up. South Africa sets date for white farmer land grabs. March 2019 is when that's coming. The country's National Assembly approved a proposal to change the Constitution to make the so-called reforms legal. It paves the way for land to be taken from farmers without giving any kind of compensation. Wow. That's an antichrist spirit. It's a communist spirit there. This paves the way for land to be taken from farmers without giving any kind of compensation. And now lawmakers have agreed to set up a committee that will write and introduce a new bill for land expropriations. I mean, stuff's getting real out there, yo. We'll come back to that. Let's watch this one for a second here.
Continue doing that. But one of the videos discussed included images of a body on a table before.
All right, so check this out, because there's a follow-up to this. I want you to watch some of this, and then there's going to be a follow-up to it. So there's a reason here. I'm just going to start it up. We'll watch a few minutes of this. Okay? Check this out.
Not aware of the specifics about it.
It's the head of Google right there.
About it from my team over the past 24 hours. I just learned about it in the Washington Post this morning. There's article with this headline, "A Platform for Free Speech That Extremists Routinely Exploit." And in it, the article explains that the recommendation engine for YouTube, which is owned by Google, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. The recommendation engine for YouTube recently suggested videos claiming that politicians, celebrities, and other elite figures were sexually abusing or consuming the remains of children, often in satanic rituals, according to watchdog group Algo Transparency. The claims echo and often cite the discredited Pizzagate conspiracy, which 2 years ago led to a man firing shots into a Northwest Washington, D.C. pizzeria in search of children he believed were being held as sex slaves by Democratic Party leaders. One recent variation on the theory, which began spreading on YouTube this spring, claimed that Democrat Hillary Clinton and her longtime aide Huma Abedin had sexually assaulted a girl and drank her blood, a conspiracy theory its proponents dubbed frazzle drip. Now, the article goes on to describe how this frazzle drip conspiracy is all over YouTube, and some of the frazzle drip clips purport to show grainy images of Clinton and Abedin committing crimes and speak of invoking the death penalty. One video, which has been viewed 77,000 times and remains online today, has a voiceover that says, "Will these children become the dessert at the conclusion of the meal?" So, and this is just one example that they use of extreme right and paranoid conspiracy groups using YouTube as a place to trade their videos and to promote propaganda. What is your company policy on that, and are you trying to deal with it?
You know, we are constantly undertaking effort to deal with misinformation, but
you already see where this is headed, right? But I actually wanted to talk about the subject this guy was talking about. Raskin, his name. This guy. Yeah, of course, this guy wants pushing that whole narrative again about, the scary people on YouTube, the right-wing crazies and all this, right? So we know that's happening. The censorship is here. It's not coming. We're already seeing it all around us all the time. But I was mainly bringing this up because before I saw this, I had never heard about some video out there of Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin consuming the remnants of children. Because obviously I usually just kind of write a lot of this stuff off if I just hear it in passing or see it in passing somewhere. It's hard to believe some of this kind of thing, but then again, we know there's enough truth that's been exposed around these kind of subjects where something like this wouldn't completely surprise me. You know what I mean? Hi, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Can you be good tonight and just leave me be for a bit? I'd really appreciate it, Chubbs. Thank you so much. Okay? All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn my attention away from you now and get back to work. Is that cool? Thank you. All right. Maybe if we don't pay attention to him, he'll just go away. Usually doesn't work that way. So anyway, I'm going to go and close this out, but here's my question to you. All of you internet researchers out there. I mean, have you heard anything about this? I mean, for all I know, there really is something on the dark web. I don't know. Of course, I started looking all over the place. A few days ago, I was online all over the place trying to find this because, again, it's the first I'd ever heard of this. I don't go do dark web surfing or any of that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys do that or not. I don't. I tend to stay away from these kind of things. So obviously just a bad situation with the dark web, right? I mean, it's called the dark web. And, I just don't trust stuff like that, obviously. I'm sure I could find some really gross, crazy things there. Just not interested, don't want to be in that. So, but, for all I know, that would be a place where one of these videos might exist. Maybe some of you out there have seen this or have heard something about this. If you have, please let us know. Anyway, here's a story from April 2018 about this story here. So it says, first, I apologize for the title, but I needed to let you know right away what this article is about. Cloak and Dagger. If you're following the Cloak and Dagger stuff going on, you may have heard about a man named Peter John Dalglish, who is a former UN top advisor and founder of the Canadian Street Kids International charity organization, who was arrested in connection with a child sex investigation in Nepal on April 7th. No? Okay, so maybe you heard about Hillary's snuff video on the dark web. I thought so. This is the way I would write the story from all the information I gathered. Within a few weeks of President Trump's stunning election victory over Hillary Clinton, Peter John Dalglish, a Canadian, suddenly revoked the registration of his charity organization, Street Kids International, on December 15th, 2016, and fled to Nepal like a scared rabbit. In Nepal, he was being continuously watched and monitored by intelligence agencies, Russians, the CIA, etc. He was under suspicion of child sexual exploitation abuse and pedo stuff, and he knows what else, or who knows what else. Yet nothing happened to him until late March when a mysterious CIA advanced team arrived in Nepal. I'm thinking that Peter John Dalglish, knowing he was a wanted fugitive, may have been threatening to release evidence or was blackmailing someone or officials with videos he had in his possession. One in particular is said to show Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin killing and torturing a female child in a satanic ritual. Apparently, when he realized his arrest was imminent, he went ahead and put the videos onto the dark web for the world to find, allegedly. It was in mid-March, and President Trump announced via Twitter that the director of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, would become the new Secretary of State. He thanked Rex Tillerson for his service in that tweet, and that was how Rex Tillerson learned he had been fired. In the very same tweet, Trump announced that Gina Haspel would become the new director of the CIA. You remember Gina, a longtime CIA op? So he says she has ways of making people talk, if you get what I mean. The Undersecretary of State, Steve Goldstein, was also fired on that same day. The State Department was taken a bit off guard by these actions. Meanwhile, there was a plan in the works, and it was in the process of being implemented. Mike Pompeo was to travel to Nepal as a trial run in preparation for the upcoming summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Nepal has long-standing good relations with both the United States, North Korea, and it seemed to be the ideal place for their meeting. At least that would be the primary cover story. The likely story was that Pompeo, who was still the head of the CIA, was sent to Nepal to oversee a very secretive and sensitive operation involving Peter John Dalglish. Intelligence reports confirmed that both CIA Director Pompeo and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un did travel to Nepal in late March, and they met on that Easter weekend. The Washington Post stated that two people confirmed that there was a meeting between the two, but official reports said that the meeting had taken place in North Korea. In Nepal, during the first week of April, Peter John Dalglish apparently discovered he was under imminent threat of arrest, and he allegedly released a horrific video onto the dark web of Hillary and Huma Abedin raping, torturing, and killing a very young girl. Central Intelligence Bureau of Nepal Police confirmed Global News that Dalglish was arrested on April 7th on suspicion of pedophilia and explained that the case against him is before the court and that he is being investigated for child sexual exploitation and abuse. Police also stated that two girls, 12 and 14 years old, were rescued from his home. There's more. Hope you guys are following with me on this. From Bacaraka.com, Bacaraka, Bacaraka.com. I'll go to the top when we're done here. But I find this stuff very interesting. Again, I don't know this person. I can't vouch for the guy that's writing this stuff. I don't know. I know as much as you do. But this is something I've never heard before. I find it very interesting. I want to learn more. Even if some of this is deception or not, I'm using my discernment, my logic, my reason, my critical thinking. I want access to this kind of information, right? I want to learn more about it. I want to find out any kind of truth that may be here. I know a lot of you are that way too. According to Foreign Intelligence Service, whether officials question the CIA as to why Director Pompeo is overseeing an operation being conducted by the Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police concerning Peter John Dalglish, the conversation abruptly ended. All right, there you go. There's not much more to it. I really don't want to read the whole thing. I think we got the main point. There's Peter Dalglish and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Let's see what the latest news is on this Peter Dalglish or whatever. See what's up. Conduct our own investigation. Eh? There it is. Global news. Hey! No! Hold on. No. Stop. Stop it, okay? Stop. All right. He's acting up a little bit. Not quite going into kitty lockup yet, but I got my eye on the door and I'm thinking about it. This is from April 11th of this year. Canadian humanitarian worker Peter Dalglish arrested in child sex investigation in Nepal. Okay, there you go. Interesting. It's one to follow. Yes. What? Chubbs. Move. French news channel caught doctoring and changing sign of yellow vest protester. No big surprise here. The media all around. Again, it's all dinosaur media, legacy media, and it is dying. It's all falling apart all around the world. And they're reduced to this kind of stuff, to all kinds of lies. Anything they can do, man. Anything they can do to maintain their positions, their power. Let's see, it's down here. Picture blows from French mainstream media channel France 3 as they were covering the Yellow Vest protests. When discussing the protests, they use an image provided by Agence France Press, which looks like this. Okay. France 3 then delivered their news, only the photo now looked like this. Notice the difference? You can see the one on the left, which it says Macron dégage, I guess you say that, meaning Macron resign, is now edited to only say Macron when you see it in the news coverage on the right. Yep. There it is. There it is. Just another example. This is happening all around the world. It's total chaos, man. And I mean, that's what, even with these yellow vests, this is all a battle against globalism. In a sense, this is a battle against the New World Order. That's what Brexit is too. Now we see Trump, who's a nationalist, right? And we see the globalist, him fighting with the globalists. I mean, this is happening all around the world, man. I believe it's just that manifestation of that Antichrist spirit. And the lines are being drawn. The sheep and the goats, the wheat and the tares. Everything's becoming much more clear. But it's like the whole world's going to be in chaos. And that's the way it's supposed to be before the man of sin appears, right? Or the son of perdition. I'm not saying it's happening right now. I don't know when. Maybe years, maybe months. Who knows? I don't know. I don't worry about it. But I know where we're at now. It's just interesting to watch it all play out the way it is, isn't it? In mass chaos, fighting against globalism or the New World Order, one world order. Mainstream media just lying, man. Just lying all the time, all around the world, just lying. It's all agenda. Oh, this one's kind of fun. This will be fun. I thought this was good. It's only a few minutes long. It's people back in 1962 he needs from the air. Inedia or breatharianism is the belief that it's possible for a person to live without consuming food or water. Kai says he only eats small amounts of food and little water while mainly surviving on mints or chewing gum for a fresh taste. Breatharians claim food and in some cases water are not necessary for survival, and that humans can be sustained solely by prana, the vital life force in Hindu religion. He says that since embracing this unusual way of life, he now looks half his age, and his previous liver problems have also improved thanks to prolonged periods of fasting. It made me very aware of my surroundings and so awake that I often struggle to sleep, he said. I suffered from pain with a liver problem, and that is now gone thanks to meditation and fasting. I now know how to heal the human body internally and naturally from many major diseases. Kai says if he was to meet the love of his life, he would at least give a romantic meal a try. When I meet up with friends and I normally arrange to do something else like shopping or going for walks is when we go for food, I sit there while everyone else tucks in. I would never try and stop people eating around me because everyone's free to do as they want. He added, I do save a lot of money, though, as I never have to do any food shopping. Okay. What do you think about that? It's interesting, eh? Uh-oh. Chubbs? No. Down. it's lockup time for you, sir. Whenever I catch you. Sorry, but we got to do it. Guys, I'm serious. It's no joke. Like, he's a little stinker, man, when I'm doing these shows. You know, I always try to give him a chance, but he hates it. He hates me not paying attention to him and talking like this. So he goes and gets into all the worst areas. You know, I've got all this stupid medication I'm slowly weaning myself off of, but it's all up on my counter. And there's syringes up there and all that stuff too, all medical stuff. And that's the first place he goes when he wants attention. He'll literally just start knocking stuff off the counter until I get up and go in there. So this is Chubbs. What can I do? So now he's playing hide and seek from me. But whenever I get a chance, I may have to jump up real quick, grab him, and then put him in a kitty lockdown for a little while till the show's over. But we'll see how that plays out. But until then, here's another one I need to save. I recently covered this subject in one of my most recent videos, talking about pagan revival. And that's what it is. All these ancient religions seem to be gathering. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come on. Good boy. Come here. Yeah. All right. Mission accomplished. Chubbs is officially in lockdown. Sorry, guys. I know we love Chubbs, but you know, man, I can't. He's always a distraction. Not always. Sometimes he's okay, but tonight he's just being a real jerk. Anyway, but this goes back to a subject I've recently covered in one of my videos about this revival of the ancient religions. All this stuff seems to be coming back. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this. Some other stories I've been kind of saving up and probably just create a video out of this. Excuse me. Often in contemporary culture, the question of whether we are living in a post-religious society is raised. Similar questions along these lines ask whether traditional religious ideas that once manifested in Christianity and Judaism and other world religions are being replaced by a gradual shift towards secularism. Others have argued that it isn't secularism per se that we're moving towards as a society. John Stonestreet, host of the evangelical radio program The Point, recently suggested that what he perceives as being a sort of a cult revival might be underway, due in part to the sheer availability of different spiritual belief systems, which are essentially made accessible to us buffet style. The occult is becoming mainstream in this country. At least part of the reason why is how easy, user-friendly, and infinitely customizable the chaotic buffet or beliefs borrowed from Eastern pantheistic faiths and pre-Christian religions is these days. There's no church or creed or set of rules. You can pick and choose whatever you like. It's spirituality meets consumerism, and you are the god. Is it just pop culture, or is it the Prince of Darkness? Stonestreet asks. My guess is it's both. There may be simpler reasons for this presumed resurgence in occult interest, which don't invoke or involve wicked workings by the unseen hand of Satan. Western society has appeared to be taking a turn for the secular for some time now. It's a phenomenon of which plenty has already been written, and one which many have considered in terms of the role religious organizations will play in a post-secular society. Again, I go back to this stuff all the time. You know, the fifth age, fourth age, the age of Aquarius, the age of Pisces. It's not all new agey, guys. All this stuff connects, you know. But that's where we're at, and so we've entered the age of Aquarius, and the age of Pisces was in part, there was a lot of things, but in part, it was a time of organization, of organizations, of set standards, set practices. All that stuff's changing and falling apart. So we're seeing politics is falling apart now, right? The whole false left-right paradigm is totally being exposed now by a guy named Donald Trump, right? Who knew? But that's a part of this. And a lot of these religions and stuff, people are falling away from religion, yet they're growing closer to Christ and closer to God, and they're understanding the Bible for themselves, and finding friends and small groups to meet up with and read together and talk about things, talk about faith, talk about God, talk about Jesus. It's all changing. It's interesting. People who once might have relied on the kind of structure that Christianity and other religions provide have seen both the relaxation of ideas about belief as well as a renewed desire for uncovering pathways to deeper meaning in life. In other words, modern society may have less need for religious beliefs, but that doesn't mean that humans have outgrown the fundamental sense of need we have for knowing that there is something more out there, whatever that might be, from one individual to another. There is also a compelling case to be made that rather than a rise in occult interest, we're actually beginning to see a resurgence in interest in paganism. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all tied in together. Or more likely, a return to a pagan undercurrent that has remained despite the dominance of other world religions over the last several centuries. In a recent New York Times op-ed, Ross Douthat talked about what he calls the return of paganism going on in America right now. I've covered this as well. It's obviously happening. He cites University of San Diego law professor Stephen Smith's recent book, Pagans and Christians in the City, in which the author argues that the march of secularism is something of an illusion. Behind the scenes, what's actually happening in the modern culture war is the return of a pagan religious conception, which was half buried, though never fully so, by the rise of Christianity. Douthat fleshes out this pagan religious conception thusly. So what is that conception? Simply this, that divinity is fundamentally inside the world rather than outside it, that God or the gods or being are ultimately part of nature rather than an external creator, and that meaning and morality and metaphysical experience are to be sought in a fuller communion with the immanent world rather than a leap toward the transcendent. It's an interesting concept and one which borrows from pantheistic ideas going all the way back to Spinoza. In this latest iteration, it is also one that appears to be emerging in a variety of areas in Western life. Author Richard Rudgley discusses similar themes in his book, The Return of Odin. Yeah, see, I wish I had this article before I made my video about the return of these ancient religions. It all ties in, so I'll have to do a follow-up and read all this stuff first. The Return of Odin, a modern renaissance of pagan imagination. I'll be looking that up. That's the kind of stuff I like to read. I like stuff like that. That's interesting. Again, it's right in line with my interests, and just deeper meaning to things, deeper truth, especially the occult and the esoteric stuff and connection to, biblical times. I'm rambling. I know I do this. The Return of Odin, the modern renaissance of pagan imagination, where he looks at this notion of a pagan revival primarily through the workings of Carl Jung's idea of an Odinic archetype. In essence, the holdovers from ancient evolutionary ideas deep within the human mind, or ancient blueprints in the modern mind, as Rudgley eloquently expresses it throughout his book, are at work in the modern world, as they have been since time immemorial. For modern man, Odin may be all in the mind, but we cannot spirit him away through reason, for he embodies the irrational side of the Western psyche. We do not need to believe in gods or supernatural entities that have an existence external to the minds and perceptions of human beings. So new agey. This is so new agey. The contemporary relevance of these gods is that they are archetypes and behavioral models and not simply objects of worship. As such, they still exert a powerful influence over our imaginations. They are the ancient blueprints in the modern mind. So Jesus is just a part of your imagination. Is one of the undercurrents here of that. Looking at a recent pagan revival more as being the result of behavioral models, as Rudgley calls them, rather than adherence to specific gods or deities, helps to explain why the perception of a pagan revival or resurgence may be occurring. So yeah, calls rather than adherence to specific gods or deities. Right. Yeah, because that has nothing to do with anything. Even though this is our reality now. We're living in a Baphomet reality. Speaking of ancient Baphomet, the half man, half woman, the goat god, just another representation of the devil. Baphomet. Why is this concept? People say, it doesn't mean anything. It's a lifeless Levi. I just created this, and it didn't mean anything. Really? Why is this manifesting everywhere? Movies, TV shows. I just caught one again the other day. I just turned TV on. I'd been watching something on HBO the night before. It was a children's program let me just see if I can show you. Now that we're on this subject, here we go. Okay, we're in it. So you see the way my mind works. I'm always connecting stuff. I can't help it. But let me see if I can figure out what this is. HBO children's show. It was like Sunday morning. I turned TV on and it's some kids show from HBO, and I'll know it when I see it. Let's see more. Oh, wait, I think that was it. Okay. Once we get there, you've seen me do this before. That's it. Esme and Roy. I mean, right there. You got the Baphomet right there holding the child, and you got the all-seeing eye and the Roy. Esme and Roy. So hold on. Esme and Roy. Images. It's got to be on here. Where is it? Something in specific. There it is. All right. So again, this is just stuff I notice all the time. I'm probably going to do a short video on this and put it up on just the website. I wouldn't put this on my main channel because it'll be a short quickie. But just to give you an idea. Oh, crap. I do hate Bing Images. They do stuff like that. Here it is. Come on, man. Man, that is annoying. All right, let me go Google. Oh, stop. Okay, I almost had it. Come on. All right, there it is. Crap, it's so small you can barely see it. I mean, that sucks. But I guess what I'm trying to show you is this girl's it's her luggage. And her luggage is a Baphomet with an all-seeing eye. It's a horned creature. Here, let's see if they can go to their website. Esme and Roy. Esme and Roy. I'm on a mission now. That's annoying. Okay, so that's not it. There it is. Okay, finally. Yeah, look at this little girl's luggage. It's a Baphomet again, right? It's the all-seeing eye with the Baphomet. And how do I know that that's what it is, right? Well, there's more. Like I said, like you got a huge Baphomet creature right here hanging out with a child again. Right? Look at that, the luggage. It's the freaking Baphomet. It's the horned beast creature. The goat god, the tranny with the all-seeing eye. Another Baphomet right there. And this is all just like another example of the Baphomet hanging out with your kids is Big Mouth, which is this really creepy show. And I did a video on this. It's another creepy show. This is about, 11 and 12-year-old little boys and girls going through puberty, and they're assisted with these Baphomet demon beast creatures. And this show is like super sexual, like way over the top sexual type stuff. And again, it's the children with the Baphomet, the children with the devil, right? It's just like that statue. It's just like these statues that the Satanic Church is wanting to put up all around America. Again, the Baphomet, they took the boobs off of this one, but the Baphomet with the children again. Right? Here you go. Just a quick little tumble down the rabbit hole with Uncle KJ. 30 toys parents used to buy their kids 20 years ago. I looked through some of these. Let's just kind of scroll down here. Kind of interesting. Those are Furbies. Remember Furbies? Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid. Talk Back Dear Diary. Don't Wake Daddy. You guys remember any of these? Featured an overly tired father who just wanted to sleep and a bunch of rowdy kids played by us that needed to make it to the end, which was essentially back to their bedroom without waking up their father. With a Masonic checkerboard pattern right there on the corner. Neat. Seems legit. It makes sense. Oh, no, I'm sure it has nothing to do with Freemasonry. Right? I'm sure it's Freemason that created the game or the company. Sky Dancers. Never seen those before. This doesn't really seem very cool. I don't know. Sky Dancers were no doubt unsafe. Kids would pull the lever and they would fly off their base and into the air. Only what comes up must go down, and often they would bump people on their way. Oh, that's interesting. So you could shoot these dolls up in the air. I mean, that makes it kind of fun. Definitely not safe for kids, but, you know. Gooey Louie. Snot. I had one of those slime toys, too, as a kid. I don't know what it was, but Gooey Louie was a toy that we can't even believe we played with. It was a head that had green snot coming out of his nose. Object of the game was to pick his nose without being the one to make him sneeze his brains out. Wow. Gooey Louie. This is a bit of a doom break, too, I believe. I think this might be my doom break. Maybe I've got 3-ish. I think I got 3 kind of doom breaks tonight. Thingmaker. Dream Phone. Dream Phone was personally my favorite board game. It consisted of using a phone to make several phone calls to find out who your crush was. It had cards with pictures of boys and clues to who your crush was. When you finally found your crush, he simply said a robotic, "I like you." It was the most satisfying thing ever. This game was quintessential 90s. The game came with a phone that looked like one of the first car phones ever. No, I do have a really good doom break, and I'm going to save it for the very end. These are kind of right in there too. You know, they're doom breakish. Got a solid one though. I thought it was kind of funny. We'll take a look at it at the end. Moon shoes. Whoa, look at that. Moon shoes were meant to make a kid feel like Neil Armstrong as he walked on the moon. Basically, what they did was bounce super high in the air, but when it came to landing, you pretty much had no control. The base of these moon shoes were so bulky that when they landed on the floor, plenty of kids complained about their ankles hurting them. Yeah, that looks really dangerous. Wow. Skip it. Pogs. Puppy Surprise. Puppy Surprise was a toy that basically showed kids how dogs have puppies. Your plush dog would come with a weird hairdo, and the surprise part of the name was referring to the number of puppies your dog would have. This is what made the plush toy so exciting. You never knew how many puppies you would get. Some people claimed 6, some 8, and the unlucky ones would get 2 or 3. Nano Baby. Oh, man, remember those? I knew some people that had some of those. Nano Babies. Doodle Bear. Mr. Potato Head, of course. Cupcake Surprise. The only thing I can remember about my Cupcake Surprise doll was she smelled heavenly. She seriously smelled so fragrant, and the only thing I ever wanted to do was hold her close to my chest and inhale her. Sounds weird, right? Probably because after opening her up and popping her out of that muffin shape, all the excitement was gone. There was a whole set of these girls, and the commercial made it seem as though they were all individuals with this great backstory. But once you got one, you realize she's just a doll rolled into a cupcake shape. All right, cool. Talk Boy, Talk Girl. Remember those? Baby All Gone. Baby All Gone was a doll that came with her own food, and you could feed her as if she was a real baby. No thanks. Stretch Armstrong. Yes. Yes, that was a fun toy. Silly Putty. Classic. Wrestling Buddy. Mousetrap. I loved Mousetrap. I had it as a kid. That is such a fun game. Do they still make that? Man, if you got kids and they never played Mousetrap, there's your Christmas surprise gift. You can probably get it for $2. It's probably going for hardly anything nowadays. Man, Mousetrap, that is fun. That's a fun family game there, man. So that could be a nice little surprise rando Christmas gift, you know? Steve Urkel doll, speaking of random. Yak back, probably like a Simon Says. My size Barbie. Baby alive. Trolls. Remember troll dolls? Yes, the Big Wheels. I had one of those as a kid. Original Big Wheels. Koosh Ball. Glowworm, another classic. Oh my gosh, another one I had as a kid. Do you remember this? The Sit and Spin? They're so crazy. I wonder if they still make any of these. Do they still make sit and spins? Sit and spin works in almost the same way that a teacup ride at a theme park would work. In other words, it's essentially a single-person merry-go-round. Now think about it. If the original merry-go-round needed at least 2 people, what made you think it would be any better with 1 person? This toy was one I was too afraid to try, you know? This person says, okay. I tried it. It's fun. Makes you dizzy, you know? Dumb game for kids, but hey. Keeps them off the tablets. Schools ordered to teach 8-year-olds that boys can have periods too. We're living in the upside down. Schools in Brighton have been ordered to teach children as young as 8 that people of all genders can have periods, as well as to install sanitary waste disposal units in every toilet room. Yes, even for the boys. The instructions were included in guidelines published by the local council earlier this month on taking a period-positive approach in Brighton and Hove schools, which assert there is more work to do across all settings to prevent and reduce stigma related to periods and talking about periods. Under the subheading Key Messages, teachers are told distressed pupils that trans boys and men and non-binary people may have periods. So again, you're lying to them. It's first and foremost, it's just a lie. You're lying. But we don't call it lies anymore. It's okay. A new approach to truth. I don't know what they're calling this. Just lying. Lies. Under the subheading Key Messages, teachers are told distressed pupils that trans boys and men and non-binary people may have periods. Just lying to them, you see? Lies. It says why Common Core is a big thing all through the Obama administration. He basically had his hands on a generation. This is really why you're seeing such a manifestation right now, a lot of the social justice warrior stuff. I believe these are Obama's children. A lot of them are public school educated kids from America. That's where you see a lot of this rise of this kind of stuff come out of in this particular generation. Not all of them, obviously, but some. I see it as that way. And he started up Common Core also in the schools. Again, a dumbing down process where he had his hands on almost a generation of children, 8 years. Right? Language and learning about periods must be inclusive of all genders, cultures, faiths, and sexual orientations. For example, girls and women and others who have periods, according to the document, which also tells schools to ensure that bins for used period products are provided in all toilets. Cool. These little boys are going to love it. All pupils and students from year 4, 8 to 9-year-olds, receive age and development appropriate period education within a planned program of relationships and sex education. However, in addition to this, the document demands schools also take a cross-curricular approach to learning about periods, particularly in science and PSHE, but also in media studies, PE, maths, graphics, and textiles. They're going to learn a lot about periods. Oof. Commenting on the guidelines, Brighton and Hove City Council said, by encouraging effective education on menstruation and puberty, we hope to reduce stigma and ensure no child or young person feels shame in asking for period products inside or outside of school if they need them. Oof. Anyway, there you go. Public school. It's a public school. School of the Beast, the Beast System, the Beast System, the Beast Education System got its grimy claws all up on your kids, and it's gonna lie to them, flip those little minds around, fry them up like an egg, scramble them. Just lies, just lying, just lying. Here we go. Strange UFO filmed in Brazil. This one was interesting. Let's see if I can find a video. I don't think he gets a very clear shot. I could be wrong. Let me see. There we go. It's getting close. All right, there you go. It's pretty crazy, right? It looks like a big jellyfish or something in the sky. It looks like that could almost be like a living organism or something. Right? Strange. Anyway, here's a close-up of it. Weird, huh? I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. There weren't a lot of good UFO videos this week. Been a little slow this past week on the good paranormal, supernatural videos. But anyway, I wanted to throw that one out there. I think this is a... let's see. That's one of those just music. Federal judge rules state must pay for inmates' gender surgery. A federal judge in Idaho has ruled the state must pay for gender reassignment surgery of a man who's been living as a woman. The Thursday ruling involved the case of Adri Edmo, a 31-year-old transgender inmate in Pocatello who is currently in a men's prison. Edmo was sentenced for sexual abuse of a child under 16 back in 2012 and will be in prison until 2021. Edmo's suit contends that she lived full-time as a woman, dressing in women's clothes and wearing women's cosmetics before. And again, this is just they're lies. That's the other side of this transgender thing, is it's promoting a lie. You see, it's just a lie. There are two genders. If you got a wiener, you're a dude. If you've got no wiener down there, you're a woman. This is biology 101, folks. Okay. But for real, all kidding aside, you know what I'm saying. I hope. I could break it down even more for you if you like, but Edmo was diagnosed with gender dysphoria by a prison psychiatrist in June of 2012, just months after sentencing. Gender reassignment surgery is one potential treatment for the condition, and the other is a lobotomy. Sorry, folks, I had to. I'll be here all week, folks. Tip your waitress. Try the veal. Many transgender individuals are comfortable living with their gender role, expression, and identity without surgery. U.S. District Judge wrote on Thursday. For others, however, gender confirmation surgery is the only effective treatment. The state has 6 months to provide Edmo with the surgery, which will restructure her physical characteristics to match her gender identity. Wow, this is where you're at now. This is our world we live in. Idaho Department of Correction spokesman Jeff Ray said IDOC will be addressing some of the issues raised by the ruling, including whether the state will appeal and where Edmo will be housed after her surgery. There you go. I don't know what else to say. That's all I got to say about that. We covered this earlier, didn't we? The Prada blackface keychain. We did. Agenda 21, Yellow Vest protests reach Sweden as thousands of Swedes gather to protest UN Global Migration Pact. Citizens across Sweden have begun rising up to protest globalism. See what I'm saying? This is it. You know, you could look at this as all the chaos before the revealing of the man of sin, the son of perdition. That's one of the ways I see it. Although, you know, I wouldn't mind if it went another way, to where the people somehow, where all this stuff was exposed and all the creeps were busted and the quote swamp really was drained and all this. I mean, I would love to see humanity rise up and all of us win and defeat the elite and to defeat the globalists and all this. You know, don't get me wrong, man. But, you know, I'm up against prophecy. That's the thing. You know, I know there's things that are coming. These things that are coming were written about thousands of years ago, and they're manifesting now. That can't be an accident. Some people want to say the Illuminati wrote the Bible and all this stuff too. You know, I mean, look, it's happening all around us. There's a lot of us who've woken up to this over the last 10 years, especially, and are out here, you know, talking about it and trying to expose it. Lots of us. I've seen this whole thing in the last decade. It's been an incredible ride. Starting off where nobody was really talking about Illuminati stuff or any of that, to the point where it became so incredibly huge, so popular, that they had to come after us. They had to start shutting us down. Hardcore censoring, taking channels away, copyright strike, whatever it is they have to do, they've been doing. YouTube Heroes program, you know, whatever. And it's not just YouTube, it's all across the board. Even PayPal's messing with some people now. Right? You probably heard about some of that. Patreon's been messing with people. Primarily, you know, conservatives or people leaning to the right. And again, even with all that, I see that eventually being translated over to the Christians. It'll no longer just be the conservatives or Republicans. It's going to be Christians. If you're a Christian, because you're a hateful person, you know, you don't think this transgender thing is okay. You're not into men marrying men and women marrying women. And, you know, you're right. Like, if you're not for the New World Order narrative, because that's what it is, and you're an enemy of the state, and there you have it. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a real battle. This is taking place. It's spiritual. It's all around the world right now. People are rising up. They're fighting back against this New World Order movement. As the anti-globalist movement continues to sweep across Europe, the people of Sweden took to the streets of Stockholm over the weekend protesting the UN Migration Pact. School children in England to be taught in sex education classes, that all genders can have menstrual periods. We just covered that. Whoa, that's a scary picture. Look at that little kid. Look at that one right in the middle. Dookie! Wow, that is just... Pro-LGBTQ Jesuit priest promotes Catholic rainbow rosary with prayers asking for full acceptance of same-sex couples. This is your end-time Christian religion part of it. It's all going to be coexist, but this is the mainstream religion-y part of all that system. Again, why it's okay that so many people are leaving the church, so to speak, but they're growing closer to Christ and to God and following the ways of Christ and reading the Bible for themselves, not just going to church once a week and thinking, you know, I'll just listen to this guy's interpretation for an hour and then I'm good. You know, I did my time. And it's all changing. Some people are learning they can have a real relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and it's beautiful. You can be Holy Spirit filled. You can be the best you. That's what the world says. Being the best you, right? You want to be the best you? That's how you get there. That's been my experience. That's been my experience. Pro-LGBT Jesuit priest Friar James Martin is promoting on social media a rosary with rainbow beads for one of the decades which are to be used, the rosary's creators say, to pray for the full acceptance of homosexual couples. The Bible clearly states that God under no circumstances will accept fornication, drunkenness, drug use, lying, evil speaking, cheating, etc., etc., etc. Right? That means if we're to follow God, we must reject these things, repent, and walk after him according to his word. Right? Go. Kanye West credits Chance the Rapper for reconnecting him with his faith in Jesus Christ. Rapper and fashion guru Kanye West is crediting Chance the Rapper for helping reconnect him to his Christian faith, which is greatly impacting his family. "You have to see and feel how happy I am and how strong my family is," West tweeted. "We are even stronger because of this through the love and grace of God. I need to speak about how Chance demanding that we record in Chicago reconnected me with my roots and also my faith in Jesus Christ," he said. Over the summer, the two performers came together to create a joint album in Chicago's studio, according to XXL Mag. Chance and West did not complete the album, but apparently their time together was an opportunity for Chance to share some of his faith with the controversial Trailblazer, enough to stir his faith back up. "I need to speak about how Chance demanding that we record in Chicago reconnected me with my roots and also my faith in Jesus Christ." That's from Kanye West's Twitter. That was just a few days ago. Chance is currently on his own religious mission. At the top of the month, he announced that he's leaving the country to learn the Word of God, acknowledging that while he was raised in a Christian home, he's essentially unfamiliar with the Bible. "I'm on a plane headed out the country on my first sabbatical," the artist wrote in a recent Instagram post. "I'm going away to learn the Word of God, which I am admittedly very unfamiliar with. I've been brought up by my family to know Christ, but I haven't taken it upon myself to really just take a couple of days and read my Bible. We all quote scripture and tell each other what God likes and doesn't like, but how much time do we spend as followers of Jesus to really just read and know his word? I'm definitely guilty of not devoting time to it." West has talked about his faith. That's beautiful, by the way, I think. I loved that. I can totally relate. West has talked about his faith in the past, while on TMZ earlier this year, the self-professed freethinker also talked about God, saying that although people might not always agree with one another, God calls us to love one another. West admittedly cited slavery, the Holocaust, and the prison system as he attempted to make an analogy about mental enslavement. As reported previously, a portion of West's interview that was not highlighted by mainstream media was when he talked to TMZ's Harvey Levin about his belief in God and the notion that love can conquer all. Levin admittedly said he doesn't believe people can love everyone, to which West looked at Levin and asked, "But does God want you to love everyone? Do you believe in God?" Levin, a television producer, yeah, I'd like to know that answer from Harvey Levin. Levin, a television producer, lawyer, and celebrity reporter, told West that although he does believe, he does not know where that form of love comes from. "If you start thinking about love and start feeling love and thinking about forgiveness, then you can overcome things," West said. "I think love conquers all. I know from the bottom of my soul, of my gut, of my spirit, my subconscious, that love is the strongest force in the universe, and right now, we need love." Kim Kardashian, West's husband, concluded the interview by declaring once again that love conquers all, and he is standing up for the free thought, but mostly free love. Interesting, eh? That touched my heart a little bit there. Gotta admit. Someone's like, "But KJ, it's all fake. Yeah. AI created that story." Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I thought it was beautiful. And if it was an AI, well done, AI. You know me so well. Are screens affecting our children's brains? Of course they are. The National Institutes of Health has been studying the effect of screen time for children. The preliminary results are in, and they're not good. The NIH report shows that 9 and 10-year-old children who spend more than 2 hours in front of a screen each day score lower on thinking and language tests. That is huge. Let's read that again. The NIH, National Institutes of Health report shows that 9 and 10-year-old children who spend more than 2 hours in front of a screen each day, listen to me, parents, score lower on thinking and language tests. Wow, this is troubling since the average teenager spends up to 6 hours a day on their tablet or phone. In addition, scientists have found that children with daily screen usage of more than 7 hours show premature thinning of the brain cortex. This scares me, though, because I'm on the freaking computer all the time. I'm always researching. I'm making videos. I'm always on it, too. I know, man. But I've done pretty good. I mean, in my own defense, I every day I exercise. Every day I make sure I get off of the internet for a while, even though I'm listening to music, whenever I'm working out. But I try to get away some. I could definitely do it more. I need to do it more. We'll see. I'm planning on really doing this RV living thing here soon. I've been looking into it. You can get away with leasing one for, for a pretty cheap amount of rent, basically, is the way I see it. It's like rent. Instead of living in an apartment or whatever, or a house, or paying a mortgage, just lease out this RV and just kind of do that, you know? So I've really been looking into it. I've talked about that in the past. Some of you guys know. But if I do that, one of the biggest reasons why would be so I could go and just get back into nature too. I could travel around America, still doing my videos, doing my shows, but just like seeing things, hiking more, you know, going fishing again, getting out there again, just enjoying nature and being around more nature. I'm in the Midwest, you know, it's no offense to the Midwest, but there's not a lot of wonderful nature where I am, you know? So anyway, took a little side road there. In addition, scientists have found that children with daily screen usage of more than 7 hours show premature thinning of the brain cortex. This is the outermost layer that processes information from the physical world. While it's too soon to know with certainty that screen time usage caused the changes to the children's brains, scientists will be monitoring this relationship carefully. The NIH report is just one example of the growing effect of technology on our children. Another study related smartphone use by children to sleep deprivation and other problems associated with poor attention spans. This is alarming since 2/3 of children take their smartphones to bed with them. One group of scientists found that the more time 4-year-olds spent interacting with media, the shorter their sleep was at ages 4 and 6. A study published by Harvard Medical School has shown that blue-tinged light emitted by devices such as smartphones and tablets suppresses the production of melatonin, a sleep-inducing hormone vital to good sleep. Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting, eh? Counselors warn that digital addiction is a growing problem. The compulsion to continue playing video games or using technology is escalating. China has identified internet addiction as one of its main public health risks. In some parts of Asia, digital addiction rates may be as high as 26%. Among American children between the ages of 8 and 18, around 8% could already be classified as addicted. A 2010 study found that children in this age group spend more than 7 hours a day consuming media. Experts warn that victims of digital addiction can experience destructive dependence, extreme change of personality, isolation, and physical signs during withdrawal. It's not surprising that researchers encourage parents to limit and monitor their children's screen time. Interesting. What's this? Okay, so I've been on now. I started at 7. I've been on like 2 hours. I need to take just a short break. But before I do, I wanted to play just a little bit of this. Don't get mad at me. I know some of you aren't fans of Paul Joseph Watson. It's not about him. It's about the subject here, the cultural significance of TikTok. This goes back to something I was talking about over the last few weeks, you know, about pendulum swinging. You know, we're at a time right now where it's just, you know, it's all about feelings getting hurt, people getting triggered, people being weak, right? An attack on masculinity, everything being flip-flopped, the whole trans movement and all this. So, of course, the pendulum swings, and eventually we knew it'd swing back the other way, and this is an example of that. This is the pendulum swinging further over to the right, all right? This TikTok thing is basically Generation Z, and it's a lot of what they're doing on there is actually kind of mocking what the millennials are all about. It's mocking this really sensitive, you know, everyone getting triggered kind of thing we find with a lot of the millennials and the social justice warriors and all this. It's very interesting how it's all swinging back around already. We're seeing it with Generation Z. So I'm going to go take just a couple-minute break, and I'll be right back. But as we do, I just want to play some of this from Paul Joseph Watson because this is interesting, the way he's putting it together. Let me see here.
That song began its life as a kind of droopy corporate feminism, respect, women, virtue signal, with the female singer refusing to play a... Yeah, that one. The lyrics to the original are somewhat socially conservative because they condemn ethos and porn stars.
This is a perfect example why I enjoy TikTok, just making fun of these thirsty for attention girls.
Probably the second most famous and widely replicated TikTok, the I'm Already Tracer song.
I'll be Tracer.
I'm already Tracer.
Yeah, that one. That song began its life as a kind of droopy corporate feminism, respect women virtue signal, with the female singer refusing to play a support role in the video game Overwatch, before TikTokers took it and turned it into a deliberately over-the-top misogynistic demand for women to shut up and get back in the kitchen.
I'll be Bastion.
Nerf Bastion.
You're Renzo Winston.
I wanna be Winston.
I guess I'll be Genji.
I'm already Genji.
Then I'll be McCree.
I already chose McCree.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
You should go back to the kitchen.
Which is precisely the point. TikTok trolling culture is a backlash to millennial outrage culture. Generation Z is overcompensating and being more edgy and offensive than the progressive zeitgeist allows. It's a kind of self-correcting cultural realignment. Just as in a political sense, the election of Trump and the global populist wave was a kind of self-correcting evolutionary realignment. Listen, kids are biologically driven to rebel. They're innately predisposed to seek out the ultimate taboos, the coolest and therefore the most censored behavior and material. What could be more taboo than a good make me a sandwich meme?
But I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my home. Changed my state of mind. Love so hard to find.
I wasn't joking when I said conservatism is the new counterculture. And although Gen Z is the most conservative generation since World War II, maybe conservatism is the wrong word.
Anyway, I think you get the point. I'm back, by the way. But you see what I'm saying, though? And they had a point to make there about that this is something I've been seeing. We always see the pendulum has to swing. You know, we're not just going to stay in this. We can't stay in this triggered generation for generations upon generations upon generations. Eventually things change, but they don't. We know everything works in cycles, right? Ecclesiastes tells us there's really nothing new under the sun. But anyway, it's good to see that Generation Z is stepping up, you know, that they're fighting back against this far leftist trigger culture we find ourselves in right now. Crazy crime story and with footage. I always wonder, are these people just nuts? You know, or is there something else? You know, are they possibly possessed? I know that sounds crazy, but definitely seen plenty of examples of that are very real. I'll show you some of those sometime. I've got videos on these things. I just want to see if I can find the video here. You gonna show us the video? I think this is it. Yeah, cool. Ready? Here we go.
Are you calling us? Are you calling 911? You're not calling at all? Then what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Come on back over. Put the rock down for me. Can you put the rock down for me?
Call 3131 and 1104 units of 10-4.
Hey, put the rock down for me. The rock, put it down. You got a free code 10 that can just walk my way. Female's refusing to get off the phone and has a rock in her hand and won't listen to me.
Unit 2% of 507 Q4 Parkway.
Hey, can you put the rock down for me?
1900.
The rock in your hand, put it down for me, would you? Are you able to put it down for me or no? Hey, when you walk up on her, just do me a favor, bear hug her. It's underneath her left arm. No. Put the rock down. Put it down. Nope. Put it. Put it down. Missed. Hey, put it down. Missed twice. Missed it down. Missed it down. I got her left. Go right. Oh, my taser's already down. That's all right. 11:30, keep stepping up.
It's pretty intense, huh? You know, obviously there are some police out there that are bad. Not all police are bad. There's some police out there that are just really bad people and have done some really bad things, to say the least. Then, of course, there's the Masonic order with some of the police officers as well. And there's a lot of shady things that happen with some of these organizations too. But beyond all that, you know, there are still good people out there. I believe. I know there's good men and women out there that are serving, good police officers, decent human beings. God bless them. Can you imagine having to go up against stuff like that? I mean, like every day, every night, always dealing with something like that. Like wackos, weirdos, freaks, creeps, killers, drug addicts. I mean, no thanks. No thanks. So for the good cops out there, you know, who are trying to do the right thing and be good people, thanks. We need that. Woman quits her job to breastfeed her boyfriend every 2 hours. Jeepers. Jennifer Mulford said she wanted to create an adult breastfeeding relationship and mentioned the idea to her former childhood sweetheart, Brad Leeson. She told The Sun it was like a light switch flicked in his head. I could tell from his voice that he was curious and excited, she said, before opening up about the first time the pair tried it. At that moment, I knew that I had a partner for life. We both wanted the same thing out of the relationship, a magical bond that only breastfeeding can achieve. She quit her job to dry breastfeed Brad every 2 hours to fool her body into lactating. She said, I've taken a break from my job because I want to devote everything to making this work. I mean, can you believe this? Brad, a bodybuilder, hopes to boost his body by their regular breastfeeding sessions. Wow. There you have it. Diver says deep sea fishing accident left him looking like Popeye. Yeah, where do you get a load of this? This is interesting. Alejandro Willie Ramos was diving for shellfish off the coast of southern Peru when a huge cargo ship cut across his vital air hose. Although he was able to swim to the surface, and I shouldn't giggle, really. I bet it was incredibly painful. The sudden change in pressure left him with arms and a chest like Popeye. There he is. The 56-year-old said he now suffers from constant pain and his chest hisses when he breathes. He added that for a long time he was also too embarrassed to leave his home in the southern fishing town of Pisco, Peru. Willie told newspaper El Nacional that he followed his father into the fishing business 30 years ago. He said back then divers had to go about 50 feet into the waters to catch shellfish. However, in recent years, overfishing means they have now receded to double that depth and the situation is more dangerous. On the day of the accident 4 years ago, Willie was about 100 feet under the water while a colleague and his son stayed on a boat feeding him air. The ship then severed his air pipe and he was forced to quickly swim to the surface. Ascending too quickly is dangerous for divers as it means the nitrogen in their bodies can form bubbles. Wow. When nitrogen bubbles form in blood and tissue, it can cause a condition known as decompression sickness or the bends. Ordinarily, divers will ascend slowly and have a safety stop as they rise to the surface to stop this happening. However, Willie had no choice, but it meant that the nitrogen caused irreparable damage to his chest and arms and added 4.5 stone to his frame. He recalled, I kept swelling and swelling. My arms swelled to an incredible size. It didn't go down. It didn't go down. Poor guy. Willie has been unable to pay for any treatment and lost his job because of his injuries. He's now experiencing trouble walking because of the extra weight, and he has pain in his arms. So if anybody needs prayers, it's this fella right here. Huh. Couple to serve Christmas dinner made entirely from roadkill. A handyman has revealed he and his girlfriend will serve a Christmas dinner made from roadkill after a year of scouring the roads for dead animals. Jim Alexander, 41, collected nearly 50 fresh animal corpses from near his home in Torquay, Devon, where he butchers the meat. The only reason I wanted to do this, I mentioned this last week, but because I had a heart attack a few months back. I'm really young, especially to have a heart attack. And they say it was genetic, whatever, but I changed my diet. I was doing a keto where it was all meat. And then I switched a few weeks ago because my numbers were still real bad, cholesterol and stuff, to an all plant-based diet, which eventually in the next few months, I'm going to start at least doing fish. But I really don't miss meat, at all. I mean, this has been a pretty easy switch for me because it's already showing really good in the numbers I have, for my health and stuff. It's already starting to look good. I'm feeling really good. I know some people are against this kind of a thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to become a soy boy. I've had no soy. Okay, I'm just doing fruits, vegetables, rice, lots of beans, stuff like that. No soy though. KJ's not going to become a soy boy. I promise. Okay. But anyway, so for now, that's kind of where I've been, and it's interesting. I'm never going to be some, angry vegan or vegetarian or militant about it or whatever. I still keep my options open, and my whole attitude is if I get to a feeling where I have to have a steak or a hamburger or something, then I'm going to go have one. I'm not trying to completely restrict myself. I just really haven't felt the need. But then I see stories like this, and it makes me really hate meat even more just by looking at these pictures. Because this guy went and got all this roadkill, like they're saying, over the last year, packaging it and everything. I mean, that just does not look appetizing to me at all. Especially this next picture, not that one. But that one. No thanks. I know, I'm sorry. I know I'm going against the grain on this one. No pun intended. I'm just not into the meats or anything at all right now, okay? And it's for my health. It's been really good. Trust me, I'm a Midwestern boy. I've always been very meat and potatoes oriented. But this all plant-based diet, man, no matter what anybody may say against it, I'm noticing great results in the last few weeks. I feel good, man. I even think my skin looks different. It's one thing I've noticed recently. I feel like my skin looks better. I don't know. I know. Random, but I don't want meat anymore. Not now. That does not look appetizing to me. Hi, guys. Or that. Look at all that meat. Just meat. Meat. Oh! Yeah, see, I just can't do it, man. Oh, hi, guys. A woman whose fiance has been making love to sex dolls for over a decade has recalled the first time she met the big Barbies he has spent thousands of dollars on. Shauna Bigelow from Nova Scotia, Canada, is sharing her bizarre story on WeTV's new reality series Extreme Love, which takes an intimate look at the real-life relationships of the most unusual couples from around the globe. In a preview clip for the show, which premieres on December 28th, Shauna reveals that her husband-to-be, Dave Hockey, took her down to his basement to introduce her to 3 of his sex dolls within hours of meeting her. Yeah, some people would call that a red flag, my lady. Yeah. There he is. Creeper. Eek! One of them's in a wheelchair? Dude. What's that all about? I said, oh my gosh, all these dolls hanging off meat racks, just like big Barbies, she says of the strange moment. While most people would have considered Dave's doll collection a red flag, Shauna admits that she had fun playing with them from the get-go. I took their hair off. I put it on myself, she says. I could dress them up and, do everything. I was thinking of just big Barbies, like Barbie dolls. Dave was beyond impressed with Sean's reaction to his beloved dolls. I was thinking, oh wow, this is the woman of my dreams, he recalls. Not only did Shauna like the dolls, but she also agreed to share her man with them. So again, just these perversions. People just perving out, man. Perversions. Oh, that's our spoiler alert. That's going to be our final doom break for the evening. The CDC has lied about vaccines and autism for 14 years. Let's put a stop to it. Mark Green, currently a senator in Tennessee and a newly elected member of the U.S. House of Representatives, publicly stated in a town hall meeting that he intends to hold the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention accountable regarding their own fraudulently managed data on autism and vaccines. As a graduate of West Point, a decorated war hero, and an emergency care physician, Green intends to stand on the CDC's desk and get the real data on vaccines. The autism rate in America is skyrocketing. It is up to 30% since the early 1980s. Sorry, it's up 30,000% since the early 1980s, now affecting 1 in 36 children between 3 and 17 years of age. And the CDC has indeed fraudulently managed the data. Senior CDC researcher Dr. William Thompson and his team found a strong association between vaccines and autism, but did as their bosses told them and changed the perimeters of the study to get rid of the association, so the CDC would not have to report it to the public. It says, please help us thank Congressman-elect Green for his courageous and honest voice. We want him to have a stack of letters from people all over the country that he can share with his colleagues when he starts in Congress in January. There you go, and there's his information. This is on westonaprice.org, but you can just look up, if you want to Google or whatever, search, the CDC has lied about vaccines and autism for 14 years, and you can find this particular article here and more information on Mr. Green, maybe how to support him, okay? Double farm murder, sleeping elderly couple shot in their bed, Bonneville. But this is South Africa again. It's an elderly white couple, what it turned out to be. It's just connected to the other thing. Like I said, keeping our eyes on South Africa and all the blatant racism that's going on out there. And the white people are in major, major danger out there. I mean, if this was reversed, I'm just saying, and it's true, if it was reversed, there would be concerts taking place, like, with a huge broadcast all around the planet, concerts with all the biggest stars and celebrities and everybody you can imagine. The Pope would be there. And I mean, there would be all kinds of things going on, right? Like going against this. But since it's white people are the victims in this, this is all swept under the rug. Robin Thicke opens up about new song Testify, shares reconnection to God after his father's death. Singer Robin Thicke, known for his over-sexualized lyrics and Playboy image, is changing his tune with his new single release, Testify, where he shares a revelation he received after his father's death. Well, it's funny. My father passed away a couple of years ago, and I thought I had an album and these songs that I wanted to put out. Then, when that happened, it was something I wasn't expecting, and it just rattled my soul, he told People. So I took some time to rethink the album, and then these songs started pouring out that had more meaning and more weight to them. Thicke's famous father, Growing Pains star Alan Thicke, died at age 69 in 2016. The sitcom actor first began experiencing chest pains while at Pickwick Ice, a skating rink he frequently went to with his 19-year-old son Carter, who was with him at the time for a pickup hockey game. He became nauseous and then vomited. Thicke's new single, Testify, reveals how he truly felt after the death of his dad and the impact it had on his life and family. He said the grief helped lead him back to faith, which helped him get through. It's cathartic just to be able to say it and then let it live, as opposed to in the middle of a conversation or a quote, the singer told the Popular magazine. Once you put it into song form, then it can live forever. And also the message in the song is really about the hope and the light at the end of the tunnel when you feel that you've lost, or feel that you lost, or you feel that you don't know what to do next. You know that reconnection to God or spirituality or something deeper than the surface is what brings you back home to who you really are and who you want to be. However, I hope it's true, but however, let's not forget that he played handler to Miley Cyrus's sex kitten on stage. Robin Thicke, Miley Cyrus. He was even wearing the black and white. Remember this? The black and the white, the duality, the Masons. But he was playing controller over Miley Cyrus's sex kitten. But that's not to say he can't change. And I hope that story is true that we just read. And I hope he really has changed, has had a conversion, and is turning away from Hollywood Satanism or Hollywood Illuminati, if you will. Ice cream shop forced to close down over sexy cow logo blames radical liberals. Check this out. It's called Dairy Air. See? Play on words, folks. Derriere also means butt. It's a full word, derriere. So there's the butt, the cow's butt. D-A, derriere, get it? You with me? So derriere, ice cream. A New Jersey ice cream shop is shutting down 1 year after its opening gained notoriety for its sexualized cow logo, and the owner is blaming one group in particular for the failed business, extremist radical liberals. Anthony Tortorello, the owner of Dairy Air, lambasted locals for their outrage towards the erotic cow rump logo, offensive and sickening, during a community meeting he hosted. They were on a crusade to destroy my business and my life, he said, after mentioning plans to retire after growing tired of running the controversial establishment. I was totally berated and accused of being a woman hater. It was nonstop harassment. It never ended. Montclair is considered to be a liberal stronghold in Jersey, even earning the ridicule from former Governor Chris Christie, who called the town the People's Republic of Montclair. The controversy around Dairy Air quickly became viral on the internet and was widely covered by the media. The pandemonium around the Montclair ice cream shop began when Amy Tingle, owner of a neighboring studio gallery and Imaginarium called Creativity Caravan, sent an open letter to Mr. Tortorello in December of last year. A hypersexualized cow with her ass upended and poking through a circle, tail raised up, waiting for what? I'm not sure, but I do know that I am repulsed and offended, Ms. Tingle wrote. This kind of marketing scheme is the reason we currently have a sexual predator in the White House. Boring, right? So shortly after Mr. Tortorello defended his logo featuring a female cow in blonde pigtails, seductively licking an ice cream cone with a tattoo on her perky bum in a press release while stating he was working on establishing a new logo. We simply created a fun illustration to complement our fun name, he wrote. But the ice cream shop owner never took down or changed the logo. Mr. Tortello told USA Today that it was a business decision to keep the logo on. Rebranding would have cost over $15,000, not including everything that had been printed with the logo, which would have to go in the garbage, he said. Anyway, look, the main point I wanted to make with this, I mean, that's some BS anyway, right? Because think of this. This is in Jersey, right? Have you heard about this place right here? Now, again, look what these people did. Look what these little, look what these locals did to this business. And they really put this guy up against the ropes, right? Why aren't more of us standing up against, companies like this? Speaking of ice cream, have you ever heard of a Sweet Jesus ice cream? Yeah, Sweet Jesus ice cream. I know. You've probably seen videos on it. A lot of us have covered this subject, but I mean, it's like blatantly blasphemous, like incredibly so. with all the similar so-called Illuminati satanic symbols myself and others have been exposing for years, all over the place. Sweet Jesus. Oh, this is that freaking Bing. I don't know why it always makes me go to Bing for these things. But it's all sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus. You saw the, let me see if I can just go to their website. It'd probably be better. Like I said, some of the common symbols you already know. The lightning bolt, you see it all over the place. Popular media. It's like Satan fell like a lightning bolt. What else we got here? Just locations. See social. Where they don't have any of the real raunchy stuff on here. Let's see, merchandise. All-seeing eye. Yeah, they don't have all the really racy stuff on here, do they? Anyway, most of you have probably heard about this company and how incredibly blasphemous its advertising is. Let's see. Here's this. National Post. Christians are right. Sweet Jesus is ungodly. This trash is now a bona fide empire, sprawling, preposterous dump. Anyway, you can look this up. Look up Sweet Jesus. Like I said, it's incredibly offensive. Has some really nasty advertising. A lot of sexualizing of children, things like this as well. Real blasphemous stuff. Like, what is it? I don't know. They use God's name in vain. Some of the, like I said, I wish I could find some examples of all this for you. It's just these images here. Hey, it's got some of the, come on. Anyway, you see some of it over here. There's some of it with the kids. But anyway, like I said, man, this is like some really nasty, blasphemous, right in your face type stuff. And they're still up. They're still doing fine. Still kicking. See over there the all-seeing eye stuff over here. And oh, there it is. It's one I was thinking of. Here's one of the advertising things. It says, "Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain, but God, D-A-M-N. That's delicious." You know, you see, you get the point, right? Hey, that's all right. No problem, man. Christians, man. We're easy going. We're cool. We don't want to, we cause a problem, man. We ain't trying to, start a fuss or anything. I mean, literally upside down crosses in the advertisement. Literally, like upside down crosses. Over here, see? The upside down cross. We're Christians, man. Hey, we just want to get along, man. Hey, man, give me some of that ice cream, man. Can I get some ice cream, man? Can I get a little ice cream, man? Megachurch pastor passionately defends giving wife a $200,000 Lamborghini. What do you think about that? When I hear this stuff, it just boils me, man. Because I'm hoping they also have outreach and they're doing things for the people. That's the one thing. I don't know. If they are, they're not telling us about it. But I could get that. I'm still not crazy about a pastor having a Lamborghini, but at least if they could counterbalance it with, say, giving, $100,000 a year or something to, the homeless or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's just go ahead and see what this says here.
Church down in South Carolina. It's an evangelical megachurch with some 22,000 members, many of whom weren't so happy when they learned of his very generous gift to his wife. This morning, outrage at the pulpit.
Get that in your spirit.
John Gray, a megachurch pastor in Greenville, South Carolina, speaking out after facing fierce criticism for buying his wife a $200,000 Lamborghini.
First of all, it wasn't a pastor that bought the car. It was a husband that bought the car. And I won't ask permission from anybody to do it.
Video surfaced this week of the pastor presenting the car to his wife in celebration of their 8-year wedding anniversary. But the image was soon taken down after response to the pastor went viral. People will forego rent, bills, food, etc. to keep lining these grifters' pockets. People are stupid to give their money to these megachurch pastors who turn around and buy mansions, planes, and fancy cars. But Gray's wife rushed to his defense, writing on Instagram, "I don't see anyone screaming about how basketball players drive what they do while you paying money to see them play." Plus, Gray says it was a private gift paid for with private funds. So what's the big deal?
What should concern people is, did this man use any money from the church to do this? And the answer is no.
Gray says the money comes from his book deals and from his reality TV show, The Book of John Gray, on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Gray is a former associate pastor at Joel Osteen's
No surprise there.
in Houston. Osteen, who lives in a $10 million mansion, famous for preaching the gospel of prosperity. Gray echoing that message, saying he deserves everything he's got.
And my best life is seeing my wife happy.
There you go. How about that? That's religion, right? I mean, that's religion. It's religious stuff. It's religion. What religion has done to some of these people. I'm including this one in a bigger video later, but Russia says it's going to build up its Arctic military base. There's a lot of stories that keep coming out about things happening, activity in the Arctic, near the poles as well. There's a lot of strange things happening. So just throwing that out there is something to look for you guys. If you see any interesting news stories about anything taking place in Antarctica or the South Pole, North Pole, these kind of areas, let me know, please. Need some milk. Driverless cars start delivering groceries. Look at that. Crazy, huh? Just more of that. They're preparing for the post-human existence. NVIDIA's scary AI generates humans that look 100% real. You may have seen this before. This is crazy. Believe it or not, all these faces are fake. They've all been synthesized by NVIDIA's new AI algorithm, a generative adversarial network capable of automagically creating humans, cats, and even cars. So look at that. These are all created by the AI. They're all, quote, fake. Technology works so well that we can expect synthetic image search engines soon, just like Google's, but generating new fake images on the fly that look real. Yes, you know where that's going, and sure, it can be a lot of fun, but also scary. Yeah, it's scary, huh? The future is now. I just like this title, Christians Standing in the Way of China's Xi Jinping's totalitarian rule. It's nice to know. That's good. So I guess Christians are standing up out there in China. It's 40 years ago this week that China opened its doors to the world and launched a series of ambitious reforms that would create one of the world's largest economic engines. China is now the world's second largest economy, the biggest manufacturer, top trader of goods, and the second largest consumer of goods. December 18th, 1978. Whatever. There you go. Anyway, I don't feel like reading that story right now. I'm going to be honest with you. But it sounds cool. LG set to release big screen TV next year that can roll up like a poster. It's amazing what they're doing with technology. I was looking for a picture of it, but they don't have anything or any imagery, or not imagery, but video maybe, of them unrolling one of these TVs. Yob called Jesus smashes church window before apologizing and vowing to become monk. Jesus Luke Ripley caused $1,000 worth of damage to the window. The 27-year-old then stormed into the place of worship and angrily ran about it. He then claimed he was only cross as he was being chased and demanded refuge from his mystery attackers. After the incident inside St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Church, Jesus returned with a letter apologizing for his bad behavior. Church priest Mark Whitting revealed Jesus had asked him forgiveness and vowed to become a monk. He explained, he's written a letter to me saying he would never have broken into a church if he hadn't been chased. He was looking for refuge, and he wants to be a monk. I take it at face value. I don't know quite what he was doing. It looked like he was drunk. Father Whitling revealed the church had just been fitted with CCTV, which caught Jesus in the act. He said he didn't do a huge amount of damage. He smashed the window and got through a tiny little hole. It was quite funny watching on CCTV. He just walked in and straight out again. Despite the damage, the priest has vowed to turn the other cheek. He added, the window was boarded up. It was ugly. It wasn't a proper stained glass window. Ripley from Faversham admitted causing criminal damage, blah, blah, blah. Yob called Jesus smash his window. And just when I first read the article or the title this week, I just first thought Jesus coming to smash the old church system. I know. It's the first thing that I thought of. It was like, is that, even like the whole battle of faith versus religion, or grace versus law, right? Works, working your way into heaven, as opposed to the grace of Christ, Jesus Christ, his sacrifice. Anyway, interesting story. Swimming teacher shares ridiculous encounter with a nightmare mother. One of the most alarming incidents alleged on the website concerned a generous swimming teacher and a mother who wasn't so kind. The swimming teacher took to Reddit to share a particularly tense exchange with a mom who didn't show any gratitude for free swimming lessons. Not only this, but she demanded that her son get free private lessons to fit her schedule. Hello, you're the lady who teaches swimming, right? I got your number. Can you teach my son also? Yeah, sure. She said she offered to pay, but it's free. Is that true? I can't pay. Free, right? I can pay. Can't pay. I'm a single mom. Hello, please reply. Question mark, question mark. Hello. First signs of trouble happened when the mom couldn't handle waiting for a response from the swimming teacher. I mean, I hate that, right? I'm the worst at getting back to people and texting and emails and messages. I mean, it takes me a long time sometimes. The mom got angry at the swimming teacher for not answering immediately and proceeded to request a private swimming lesson, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this goes on for a long time. Now, I don't feel like reading the entire darn thing, but look it up if you're interested. I just could relate to that first part, I really do hate that. I'm sure you've had that as well, right? People who get fussy with you, like if you don't respond in time, Anyway, swimming teacher shares ridiculous encounter with nightmare mother, if you want to look that story up. Which brings us to our final story. This is definitely up there in the category of doom break, but I just thought it was interesting. We're going to click on these and get the full picture here. This is crazy, man. These are real Christmas cards from the Victorian era. All right, let's see exactly when. Series of creepy Victorian Christmas cards reveals the blah, blah, blah. Okay, doesn't say when. Oh, 1880s. So these right here are from around the 1880s. And look at this, man. That's scary. That's creepy looking. Nightmare fuel. That's total nightmare fuel. Look at this. In this old image, a young girl cowers helplessly from an approaching emu. That is so random. And this, look at this. Morbid cards such as this one featuring a dead robin suggest that the Victorians were not as straight-laced as we believe. Krampus, of course, right? Santa Satan. A European Christmas card from 1900 showing a Krampus who, according to folklore, would visit children during the Christmas period and punish those who had misbehaved. I always say Krampus is Santa without a suit on, right? A Krampus is described as half goat, half demon. Santa Satan. More Krampus. More Krampus. God, look at this. It's meant to show a sweet scene, but looks decidedly creepy as Santa stares in through a window. He knows when you've been sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. I have come to greet. More Baphomet imagery. And with the children, right? I always say that that's what this system wants, is the innocence and the purity. We see it even manifesting in its own way right here. A goat sticks his neck through a fence to tell a young boy it's come to greet him in an odd Christmas card image from 1911. It's just kind of random. Eek. Yeah, these snowmen look like something out of a horror film. Especially the one on the right. Whoa. Another strange Christmas card from the London-based company. Raphael Tuck & Sons shows two humans with chicken heads sledding. 1880. Okay. It's the kitties. These are Christmas cards, though. Two robins lie flat on their back, possibly from the sherry, and a rather unusual Christmas card from 1876. Four frogs have slipped on the ice in an image used for a Christmas card in Germany circa 1880. This is crazy. Look, again, Christmas cards. A bizarre scene showing an epic battle between ants used for a Christmas card. The red ants are holding aloft a flag that says the compliments of the season. That's crazy. Yikes. Two small children are pictured running away from a giant insect. A locust from the pit. That's what I think when I see that. This is not an image you would find on a modern card. No, it's not. They'd have a store shut down nowadays for selling a card like this, the way things are. Sir Henry Cole came up with the first ever Christmas card in 1843. There you go. There you have it. There you have it. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better watch out. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming for you. And that concludes the news for this week. Wow, this was an almost 3-hour long show. We outdid ourselves, didn't we? I'm going to jump over here to the chat now and say hi. Hey guys, thanks again for being here. Thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you had some fun. Share with your friends. We'll do it again next week. I'm always working on something. I've been working on a couple videos this past week. It just takes me time. So once again, I always appreciate your patience with the kind of videos I make, and it just takes me time, man, to get these things out. I can't rush stuff. I don't like feeling like I've got to rush or do something every day. I just like to put a lot of thought into the stuff I'm doing and make sure that what I do even matters, that it counts. Thanks again for the mods for being here. Always a good job. One of our mods recently lost an animal, a beloved animal or family member. That's Kay Smalls, and if you want to leave, maybe like once this video is uploaded, you can kind of explain a little bit down below in the comments. And if people want to kind of help her out, with the situation, we'll leave a link there for that as well. They'd gone through kind of a tough time, and she asked if I'd mention it. I said, yeah. So let's go ahead and look for the message down below from Kay Smalls, and appreciate it. And thanks as always to my Patreon friends, and for those of you who support my work, thanks so much. It means the world. I appreciate it, man. You guys really helped me out so much, and you've kept me alive. It's been fantastic, and it's I still don't even have a full 300 people on Patreon, which is fine. What I've had has been fantastic for a couple years now. So just thanks again, you guys. You've kept me going. You allow me all the time I need to create new projects, to do shows, to research, to make videos, and just do it. So I've also got a website. If you're not familiar with it, there's videos over there that you may not have seen on YouTube. There's also my band videos from YouTube. Go to my website as well. I'll leave a link below for that. And otherwise, that's it, man. Much love to you guys. I appreciate you being here as always. You guys take care, and we'll do it again next week. And keep your eyes open this week for some videos from me. Okay, coming up soon. Thanks, and take it easy.